Hey everybody, I hope your Saturday's going well. Happy Flag Day. I know I was working and trying to recover from all the normal Harvey activist stuff that I do, so unfortunately, I was not able to make any of the No Kings protests, but I hope that I hope you all went to one or participated in one form or another, even virtually, and I hope that they went well. I heard that the ones in Chicago were relatively peaceful and that Chicago police were not hassling protesters. So thank God. We certainly have enough fascists out there who are eager to cause trouble. Please be careful of that as well. If you are not aware, this is something that has been happening, probably since the dawn of human civilization, but some people still may not be aware that the government pays people. You can call them agent provocateur. That's the French term that we borrowed in English, but some people will call them false flag operations. But basically, what happens is that they will pay people to typically be, in camouflage, face covered up, and they'll start rioting. They'll start being violent in an otherwise peaceful group of protesters in order to try to encourage people to be violent and or to start looting and destroying property. And then the government uses that as a pretext to have a violent crackdown on protesters. So again, those are those agents provocateurs. So be very careful if you are participating in any protests. Make sure to know your people, know who you are with, and and make sure to distance yourself from any of those FBI agents or otherwise hired agents provocateurs that are trying to cause trouble and discredit the largely peaceful protests. So just do be aware of that. Not saying that sometimes you don't have actual, normal citizens that will loot or that will cause violence, but for the most part, that is something that is very, very, very common, and you'll see it a lot. And it actually goes along with our theme of bullying today, talking about. I'll pull up the agenda here. Give me 1 second. But that is one way that the government will try to legitimize the crackdown of using excessive force on protest movements. So hi baby, I know someone wants some food. I gotta give him food in a second. Hold on. I know. Now when you have a dog, they don't care about whether you're doing a live or not. Wait, let me show you guys. Hold on. Look at get down. No, get down. Off the table. He knows better too. But yes, he says Hubert says hello. He was a stray that I rescued from Harvey. Let me give him a little bit of food. Get at it. Mr. Hungry. Okay, here you go. Good boy. Okay, well, I gave him some nice crunchy food, so hopefully that will keep him occupied. I like that. Somebody just shared on Facebook. Don't ever let anyone treat you like you have a spare life in the closet. Read that again. I like that. Yeah, Okay, so let me pull up. Oh, I forgot I have it in my downloads too. What am I saying? Oops. Of course, I downloaded it. Again, thank you for joining. If you are just joining today, we're going to talk about bullying. What kind of bullying we're seeing, understanding about narcissists, and then what we can do to fight. Let me pull up that agenda real quick. Valid topic. Well, we see it. I see it a lot in the Southland and in Harvey and in my political, my community work. You also see it on the state level, the county level, the federal level. Politicians do it. You see it in workplaces. You might have family members, friends, people you meet on social media. So it's definitely a hot topic, especially I am newer to the YouTube scene, and there is some horrible, horrible bullying that goes on within the YouTube world. We're going to discuss a recent murder that happened that people are saying was related to YouTube bullying and feuding. So it's very, very timely, very important, very serious stuff. Hey, Conscious, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Conscious knows a lot about bullying. People keep coming after her over and over again for no reason. Oops, sorry. Okay, so the agenda for today, I'll try to keep it short and sweet, but for our Let's Talk Southland, we're going to talk about bullying in person and online. Online is ever more common today, right? We're going to talk about narcissists. What are some of their characteristics and how can we recognize them and deal with them? We're going to discuss the Vegas YouTube murders and could they happen here in the Southland? And lastly, we're going to close with how to fight bullies. But yes, I always respect Conscious's work because she is very consistent about defending people against doxing, against bullying. And that's another one we'll talk about under when we talk about bullying online. Okay, but let's start with this video. It's relatively short, but this lady's gonna. Okay, she's gonna tell us just a few ways that adults bully. Hey, Cynthia. Welcome, welcome. So glad to have you. All right, let's see here now. Okay, so let's start with this. And at some point, if you want to share at the end, we'll have time. If people want to share any stories about how they have been bullied, how it has affected them, and how they dealt with it. Because like I said, it's very serious. People will commit suicide. People have been murdered. Careers have been destroyed, all because of this bullying.
Like bullies and have clique-like behavior. Number one, the adult bully will try to socially isolate you. This weakens your support network, and so it makes you easier to control. When you have less of a support network, it prevents you from speaking up against them or their actions. And by isolating you and excluding you, they get to boost their popularity and reputation. Number two, adult bullies will spread rumors about you to damage your reputation, to make you feel ostracized, embarrassed, or ashamed. They do this to erode other people's trust in you. Number three, the invisible treatment. Now, this is different to isolating you because this is where they acknowledge your presence but deliberately make you feel unseen, unimportant, or unwelcome. Number four, they regularly make passive-aggressive comments about you. This disguises their insults and criticisms of you. And by making them very subtle and indirect, they get to avoid taking responsibility or being called out. Number five, and this is really horrible, eye contact and giggles with others. This is where they look at you to make sure you've seen, and then they make eye contact with their supporters or those in their clique, and they giggle together. This creates a kind of in-group, out-group dynamic where you are made to feel as if you're in the out-group. The purpose of it is for them to show you that they have the power.
Okay, so that was a nice short little hey Tracy, hey Cheryl. Thank you guys for stopping by. Let me remove that. Okay. So that's a short little one basic introduction to bullying, okay? Let's look to see what else. Oops. we have a Psychology Today article. Okay. How to recognize and deal with adult bullying. This is from 2023, so relatively recent. Oops, wait, sorry. I gotta add it to the stage. And Tracy, thanks for the rainbow for Pride Month. Yay! We had a press conference here in Harvey on Monday about, Pride Month and how LGBT folks are often bullied, and generally in Harvey and in the Southland, how we are having a huge issue with politicians and some people that are maybe allied with certain politicians that are bullying gay people, Latinos, women, really anybody that they feel that they can bully, that they feel is vulnerable and weak enough to bully. So, and you might say, but why? Again, why do people do this? We're going to get more into that when we talk about narcissism and why people would do those sorts of behaviors. Now, Uber is happy. He ate something, and now he's going to oops. Okay, yeah, now he's going to be playing with his bone, which is good. How to recognize and deal with adult bullying. Okay. It says, according to this particular survey, 31% of individuals in the U.S. reported experiencing bullying as an adult, and 43% reported that bullying seems to have become more accepted in recent years. So what does adult bullying look like? Spreading malicious false rumors about the target, turning social alliances against the target by painting a negative picture of them, putting down or silencing the target in front of others, excluding, mocking, withholding information, and or claiming the credit for the work of the target. The target is often not in a position of being able to defend themselves easily, as there may be an actual or a perceived power imbalance of some sort, such as being newer in a social circle. Bullying is a type of aggressive behavior. What drives bullying? People bully others whom they feel threatened by or envious of, especially those who are different from them in some way, and to establish dominance in a group. Those who bully feel better by putting the target down. So we talked a little bit about this at our press conference. Lack of self-esteem is what definitely, Tracy, yeah. Where I said, even if you're not gay, you can still get behind Pride Month, because I'm all about embracing people, everybody, including people that might be considered different, right? Do you talk a different way maybe than might be seen as out of the ordinary? Maybe your skin color looks different than the others around you. Maybe you come from a different country, and that's how you stand out. Is your hair dyed? Do you have piercings? Do you have tattoos? Are you shorter? Are you taller? So you might say, like, ugh. Some people are like, why isn't there a straight month? Like, why do we have to have Pride Month? That's so stupid. Well, it's because there is a tradition of people being viciously bullied for being LGBT. And someone's ringing my doorbell, so give me 1 second. I don't know. I'm not expecting anyone. Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Can I help you?
I just want that.
Oh, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you. I'll let you know if I need some help.
All right. How you doing?
Oh, good, not bad. Yeah.
Father's Day tomorrow. What you doing?
Yeah, happy Father's Day to you. Yes, okay. If you want to leave, if you're looking for lawns to cut, just leave me your information in my mailbox. Like your name and your number.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have number now, but I'll drop it right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, well, there is a gentleman. I have seen him around, and I know he mows lawns. So if anyone is looking for someone to mow your lawn, I'm sure he's looking to make a little money. And I don't need help right now, but I just told him to leave his name and number. So, I wish I had more money to pay people and employ people like that. Excuse me. So I was just saying, you don't have to be gay to understand, the issues of being bullied. And why do we have Pride Month? Well, it's because overall, right? If you're straight, or if you're someone who typically, has a relationship with the opposite sex, it's not seen as other or different, and therefore people do not tend to be bullied or harassed especially. So I hope that maybe answers a question for some people who might feel a little defensive about that. And so anybody can pick something out in your life that you have been picked on because you are a little different. And that's what we mentioned at our press conference. Yes, I'm still very upset. I'm glad that the mainstream media did come out, but I called all their news desks. I called some of the reporters personally. I put out the press release and everything. And unfortunately, we got zero airtime. The 3 networks that did air the reports, it was all about just updating what was going on with, they portrayed it as Colby, my alderwoman, versus Mayor Clark, fight between big bad evil man and tall, beautiful woman. How dare he, go against her, blah, 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 blah. And it's just a shame because, Colby was there. Like we were there. Colby was there. Some of the neighbors were there. We were in our rainbow gear. We had some PFLAG members that came out. And we didn't get, and they didn't show any of that. Instead, the media was just running around. One of the stations did an interview with Mayor Clark at the same time that we had scheduled the press conference. So I'm sure Clark did that on purpose. Speaking of bullying, right? And then some of the other stations, well, 2 of them, they filmed the press conference, but they didn't use any of the footage. And then 2 of the others were just literally wandering around the parking lots, like in front of City Hall and then on the side, and ended up interviewing Colby and I think 1 or 2 other residents, but that was it. And we cannot have this, people. So that's why I'm going to keep talking about Gay Pride this month and just about bullying in general. That's what that whole press conference was about. We have a problem, especially in the Southland. These politicians are coming after people, and it's really, 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 really bad. It's destroying people's lives. It's not just a matter of Colby versus Mayor Clark. That is one of the struggles, but it's happening on so many levels, particularly in Harvey with the gay community, the Latino community. We have a Muslim Indian community as well. So anyway, I just wanted to say that and to thank you for those of you that supported us for that. Okay, cool. So that's the covert. Oh, let's talk about the covert nature of adult bullying. Okay. Those who bully often ensure good relationships with their superiors and with others they deem important, thereby enabling them to evade detection of their bullying. The person who bullies may have 1 or 2 targets at a time. Targets of bullying often suffer in silence because of a lack of effective anti-bullying policies and interventions, stigma, and at times power imbalances. Some suggest those who bully know how to work the system. They might plant the seeds of doubts in the minds of their superiors about the target, making it less likely for the target to be believed or taken seriously. Oh boy. And we know that, right? With remember what happened with Dalton, and you had some YouTubers that were in the township that were trying to cover not only the wrongdoings of Tiffany Henyard, but were asking the other trustees and folks that were in. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Hi, Choose. Yes, Burgundy. And I know I invited her to be on, but I know she's still busy. She's doing some work stuff and helping out Cara Wilson, I believe. She's helping their family a little bit today as well, so she couldn't be on, but she definitely sends her support. She was mercilessly bullied as well, okay, just like I was when I taught at Thornton, and it was just not a good situation. And all she and some of the others were doing were just asking questions about how governments run. So it's really, really important that we understand this behavior and that it is not okay. And that's why I mentioned that. It says they might plant the seeds of doubts in the minds of their superiors about the target, making it less likely for the target to be believed or taken seriously. So what we found in Dalton and Thornton Township is that if someone wanted to discredit someone like Burgundy Blue, even if that person was totally fine, asking the best questions, doing nothing wrong, all they would do is say, oh, well, you know, that person supports Tiffany. And that was thrown out as an insult. And then that was meant to totally, totally delegitimize anything that person would say, even if they were totally right. So you heard people say that about in Yoda Figs and Monet Wilson in Calumet City. Thaddeus Jones, who is one of these narcissistic bullies, he made sure to accuse time and time again, you know, the ladies that were opposing his corruption, characterizing them as Tiffany supporters to try to discredit them so that no one would listen to them. You saw people accuse Burgundy of being a Tiffany supporter, and I'm trying to think of who else, but you know, there were several other people. People said that about me at times, you know. So again, it's all trying to make people seem illegitimate so that you don't listen to them and you isolate them. The role of the peer group. Bullying is rarely solo. The term bullying has its origins in the word mobbing, which was used to describe a group of children ganging up on one child. Recent research indicates that the peer group may inadvertently play a role in maintaining bullying. While peers may not theoretically be in favor of bullying, they may implicitly or unknowingly contribute to perpetuating bullying by aligning with the bully. Now, this is where it gets really, 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 really key and important, and a lot of people miss this. Or by staying silent. Okay, so most people, I watched your video on the other ladies that were bullied. Oh, thank you, Choose. Yeah, did you watch the interviews with, if you haven't already, look on Ryan's Gay Chicago. I interviewed before the election in Yoda Figs and Monet Wilson, who both won their re-election campaigns. So congratulations to them. But the stories are unbelievable. The things that they have proof, this is not rumor, that they have proof of, Thaddeus Jones and others that were associated with him were doing. And guess why no one was paying attention to? Oh, thank you, Choose. Yes. Guess why everyone was ignoring them? Because Thaddeus was using this classic bullying technique of, you know, of saying, oh yeah, but all you people that are enraged and riled up about Tiffany, well, you know, those ladies, that they're friends with Tiffany, therefore don't believe them. And other people contributing to the bullying, instead of thinking for themselves and using critical thinking, they were like, oh yeah, really? Oh, well, I heard that this person said, yeah, that those ladies, they're friends with Tiffany, so oh yeah, they must be bad, we can't support them. And you saw the very same people that were so coming out so angrily against Hey, Burgundy. Hey, Ryan in chat. Yes, it is awesome to see Cara smile just a little today. Oh, well, thank you for your work, and send our well wishes to her and her family. That was some major police bullying there. And that's why we're covering this, because these things have real stakes, very, very, very serious stakes in the real world. But so Thaddeus was discrediting these ladies, and people were just going along with it. And what happened is that, you know, no one was hearing their stories. Well, at the same time, you had people that were coming against Tiffany for some of the same things that Thaddeus was doing. And Thaddeus was even doing worse, or in our case, Mayor Clark and Harvey was doing worse. But because I guess there was this group mob think of like, oh, well, if they're associated with Tiffany, then we don't care. Then no one was confronting Thaddeus on what he was doing. And guess what? Tiffany might be gone, but Thaddeus is still in office, and he's been in office many years. And there are many documented, not rumored, documented accounts of severe bullying that he has subjected residents and politicians to. Same thing for Mayor Clark and Harvey. Then, you know, you have Will Davis, maybe not as much extreme bullying, but like in our situation where we would go and ask him for help in Harvey with Mayor Clark, since they're friends and buddies, then that's where you see he was silent. So you might think, oh yeah, but I just didn't say anything, but I wasn't a part of it. No, sorry, you were silent. You were a part of it. So that was my issue with Will Davis, right? We've met with him. Napoleon Harris, same thing. People say, oh, Brian, but why don't you support Napoleon? I mean, you know, it's not perfect, but who else are we going to get to? We can find someone else. I think other people should be running against Napoleon. You know, he has ignored the cries of Harvey and residents and many for years who are asking for help. So remember, silence is not an excuse. Silence is complicity. You can't say, oh, I didn't know, or, oh, well, I just decided to stay out of it. Sorry, that's not how bullying works. So let's go back to this. Hold on one second. I want to see you guys' comments. Hey, Bird, wonderful news. Conscious says, hey, hi, Bird. Bullying in the Southland had people dox me, drive by my house, call my employers, and more. And these were grown people way older than me. Yeah, so like very, very serious stuff here. They were also bullying Tiffany Henyard. We heard more about her personal life, and we still don't know what she stole. Exactly. Thank you, Burgundy. You're always so helpful. We love Cara and family. Agreed, Choose. It was a smear campaign. They told a lot of fibs. Silence is violence. Oh, thank you, Choose. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. So, that's why I don't, some people are like, oh, well, why would you complain against Napoleon and Will Davis, why don't know, they've done some nice things. I don't care how many nice things you do. If you don't defend the most vulnerable and the weak who are constantly getting picked on, like people in Harvey, then guess what? You are a part of the problem. Same thing. Robin Kelly, I love a lot of her advocacy that she's done for the LGBT community. She is our state representative. I thank her for that. However, the multiple times we've met with her staff, they refuse to get involved with any of the South End corruption, particularly anything in Harvey. I have a problem with that. You can't say that you want to be elected and you want all this power and responsibility, but then you're not gonna help the most vulnerable. So staying silent, no, that's not an excuse. That only enables. They may find it too risky to confront the bully, or by rationalizing that the bully is just joking, even though they may find the behavior psychologically harmful. So those are rationalizations, but they are not excuses. So people are afraid. I get it. I'm afraid too sometimes. But that doesn't excuse staying silent. The peer group may assign the bully the status of cool or popular or powerful. Okay, so as Burgundy mentioned, let's see, it can harm your relationships and your social standing, but it affects your physical health, psychological effects. Okay, increased risk of cardiovascular disease, adversely affecting the HPA axis, increasing anxiety, depression, sleep difficulties, low self-worth, and also people who witness the bullying, right? That also increases the risk of depression among those people. Studies from children and adolescents show even those who bully may suffer from the negative psychological sequelae. Oh my goodness, I have to look that up. I do not know that word. Sequelae. Okay, and how to prevent bullying. We're going to talk about more of that later. Okay, how to prevent it. So we'll come back to that. What is next on our... Oh, okay. I want to talk a little bit about cyberbullying. This was made for kids, but I find this actually really, really useful. Let's see. Did you guys have any questions or comments? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, good. And what you guys were saying about Tiffany Henyard also was very valid. Part of it was, oops, hold on. Okay, just a little Harvey update thing. Part of it was a distraction, right? So if Napoleon and Thaddeus and others who wanted the power, money, and control that Tiffany had, if they made her the enemy and they got together and incentivized, paid, and otherwise motivated people in media and YouTubers and just everyday residents to generate outrage against Tiffany and pick on every little bit of her personal life, that helped them to get Tiffany out of office, right? But my question is, where are the audits? Who now has jobs at the township and in Dalton, and how much are they making? And if they were rehired because they have been fired, I want to see why were they fired in the first place. And don't just say, oh, that's because Tiffany fired them. Well, we should see the reports. I want to see what the history was. So those are all really, really important questions. And you'll notice that a bully will instigate all sorts of criticism and intense that intense spotlight that everyone was shining on Tiffany. But at the same time, was that same level of criticism ever put on Napoleon Harris, Christopher Clark, Thaddeus Jones, Will Davis, just to name a few? Were people talking about their lovers? Were they talking about the different places where they lived? Were people publicly condemning Napoleon Harris because he is the supervisor of Thornton Township and doesn't live in Thornton Township? Let's be honest here. All right, now we're going to watch about cyberbullying. This is a cool site. It's called stopbullying.gov.
Cyberbullying posts or shares harmful or mean content about someone else on the internet, social media, apps, texts, video games, or digital devices. Take this example. Maddie took a screenshot of her classmate Shonda's photo from social media. Added someone's.
And again, this is geared towards kids, okay, but it still applies to adults. So just bear with the analogy. Don't say, oh, but I'm not in school. Like, I know, but it's still applicable.
Insulting words after sharing it in a group text. Some classmates replied with hurtful, mean comments about Shonda. Others laughed and shared it with others. Is it cyberbullying? Yes. Matt wanted to wear a Shonda. I think so. Shonda needs to document what happened in case it happens again. Shonda can also block the group texts. She should tell what happened to an adult she trusts. Together, they may want to report what happened to the school.
So I noticed that in this video. In the other situation, they make us the other point. They say the same thing. So as far as solutions, they're saying, okay, you can take screenshots, right? So you document it, block the person, and then get support, right? Don't just sit alone and stay anxious and depressed at home. Speak up for yourself. Sorry, I just want to get caught up with the comments. Here's the thing. The board had to approve any termination, so it can't just be Tiffany fired me. Correct. Exactly. So that's how, because especially with all these YouTubers coming from different places, local and out of town, and people taking interest in the Southland, that's awesome. I'm glad. And I want people to get more involved. But it's not just attention, right? It's attention on the right things. So we don't want to be obsessed about superficial things like, oh, so-and-so just always argues with that person. Okay, but where's the money going? Who's getting hired for what positions? How much are they making? These are the things that we need to know about public officials. And overall, we still don't have answers to most of those. And thanks to sequelae, I'm guessing it's sequelae pronounced. That's a nice word from Latin. The long-term consequences that persist even after the initial condition has resolved. Okay. Well, I learned a word today. I love these. And thanks, choose. Yes, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, thanks for looking that up.
Cool. How about this one? Malcolm plays multiplayer video games online with people he only knows through gaming. A few of them.
I wish Potato were with us. Conscious, you have to tell Potato about this when I thought about this. And they said someone who's gaming.
Have added him on social media. One player, Lucas123X, or Lucas, used to chat with him a lot while playing, asking a bunch of personal questions. Malcolm answered and didn't think much about it. But one day, Lucas posted all kinds of personal information about Malcolm on social media, mixed in with lies and comments about his ethnicity and gaming skills.
Oh, interesting. Have we seen, hey, Critical? Oh, you did stop in. Thank you so much for stopping in. Speaking of being bullied, Critical is another one that was just minding his own business with his channel, and people have been not kind at all to him. other bullies that have their own ulterior motives. But I know it's using a gaming example, but how many times have we seen someone come onto YouTube or Facebook or another social media forum and pretend to be someone's friend, right? Oh my gosh, I love your show, Conscious. You're so cool. Brian, you're like the best ever. And then they start asking a lot of questions. They might even give you donations. They might share your channel. They might friend you on Facebook, and they start asking a lot of questions. They want to kind of know what's going on with you. They get that information, and then like the young man, the example, they end up turning on you, taking that information and using it to try to embarrass you. So we just have to be careful and be aware that even though it's not that person would did anything wrong in that case, right? They were just chatting, being friendly, that people will take that information that we've given and try to use it against us. I mean, they can try to use it against us.
Is it cyberbullying? Yes. Lucas was trying to harm Malcolm and his reputation. What can Malcolm do? He can take screenshots of the posts and block Lucas on social media. What Lucas did may have also violated the rules of the social media site and the gaming platform. Malcolm should report Lucas's behavior to the sites. He can also avoid a game if he knows Lucas is one of the players. Malcolm can tell an adult about what happened.
So, sorry to pause. I just wanted to review that again. So, because I agree with that advice, and you guys can give me feedback on what you feel about it. But so block the person. I'm sorry. Take screenshots. So you have evidence. All right. Block the person. You can avoid, if they're like, let's just, since there's so much YouTube bullying that goes on, I'll use YouTube as an example, but it could be Facebook. It could be other things. It could be gaming. If you see that the person that has bullied you is doing a show, you don't have to sit and watch and subject yourself to that. Or maybe if you see that they're all there's a whole bunch of people, there's a bully and others that have gone along with that bully and they've been harassing you, and they're all in the chat of someone's show, again, why subject yourself to that? I agree with that advice. Just get out of there, give yourself some space. It's said as well to report people. So, please only do this if someone actually bullies you, right? Don't try to get people's channels struck or people banned if they haven't actually done anything. Don't do it just because you're upset one day. But if there's a legitimate reason and you're really being bullied, use those term of what do they call those terms of use to something, whatever. But you use those policies almost every social media, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, these gaming platforms, anything, Instagram, whatever, they have terms of, I think it is terms of use. I think that's what it is. But basically they have policies against bullying. So do what you can to report them. Okay. And then Conscious brings up another good point. If you defend yourself, then you are the bully. Cynthia says absolutely disconnect. Right. Although for some of us that like, I love social media, I love YouTube, I love that. It's not always the best, or we're not able to always disconnect fully, but at least we need to protect ourselves from the people who are causing harm at the very least, right? And Conscious said if you defend yourself, then you are the bully. And that is how the bullies will try to portray you. And I would argue that that is just another layer in the bullying, that you absolutely have a right to be angry, sad, and upset when you are bullied. And you have a right to respond to and protect yourself.
Together, they can help determine if they should report it to the police. And remember, never give out personal information to strangers. Here's another one. Jaden and his friend Dylan were having fun, kidding around after school. Jaden took photos and posted them online. One photo showed Dylan making a weird face, which they both found funny, in the photo. Dylan was upset by the photo and the comments. Is it cyberbullying? No. If Jaden didn't mean any harm and he's willing to delete the photo, it is not cyberbullying. If Jaden doesn't delete the photo after seeing the negative comments being posted about his friend Dylan, He could be contributing to cyberbullying, though. What can Dylan do? He can ask Jaden to remove the post and, in the future, to ask permission before sharing photos of him. If Jaden is a friend, he'll respect Dylan's request, apologize, and delete the photo. For more information, visit stopbullying.gov.
That is if Trump or someone else who wants to try to bully doesn't defund it first. Oh my Lord. Lord help us. Like I said, unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to any of the protests today, but I support people speaking out for their rights. Okay. Oh, I wanted to mention, before we go to narcissists, I pity the fool for bullying my people. Wait, hey, and welcome, Crook. Wait, what does that mean, though? I don't understand that. Oh, pity. I pity I see your picture. It's Mr. T. That's cool. Before we go on, though, I wanted, because we did not mention this, I wanted to bring up doxing. Sorry, give me 1 second. Oops, wait. No. Oops, sorry. I know you guys can't see it yet. Let me add that. Add what to the stage? Add this one. Here we go. Okay, so doxing.
Doxing happens when someone publicly shares your private information, including your home address or phone number, without your permission. The goal of doxing is to scare, embarrass, or harass you. Online arguments, but things can escalate quickly. After someone does thorough research, they can post information they find about you for everyone to see. Luckily, you can protect yourself from doxing by following these steps. You should clean up your digital footprint to ensure people can't find much information about you when they research your name. This includes not oversharing on social media and keeping your accounts private. Protect yourself from doxing by using strong and unique passwords. Or, if given the option, enable passkeys for a secure, passwordless experience. Someone trying to dox you may attempt to log into your accounts to learn more about you. So having a strong password or passkey will secure your privacy. Another way someone can dox you is by learning your IP address, which is why you should use a virtual private network, or VPN. This will encrypt your connection and hide your IP address from anyone trying to dox you. Protect your privacy and always think before you post. You never know what kind of information can be used against you. For more tips on staying safe online, subscribe to our channel.
Okay. I also wanted to share a little bit more from the legal perspective. Let me see. Come on. Come on, Tab. Sorry, it's freezing. It's freezing up on me a little bit. Come on. The dog's gonna think I'm talking to him. I apologize. Give it a moment. It should come back to us. Come on, baby. Come on. All right, never mind. I'm just going to refresh it. Let's see if that fixes it. Ah, okay. There we go. Good, good, good. Let's listen to a lawyer. This is supposed to be a short one, but I'm curious to see what he has. Whoop. Oh, what's a YouTube? Okay, pause. Okay.
A website with the client's name, home addresses, pictures. If this person has stolen something from you, fill out this form below. There is something wrong with collecting someone's information, even though that information is public in different places. But if you're piecing together the mosaic about this person's life by collecting information that's already public and presenting it to people to say this person has done something bad and you need to give him an earful, then yeah, that is what doxing is. That's when you try to unleash public condemnation and encourage people to target them with negative comments or phone calls or physical mail. When I was in law school, I worked at a clinic where one of our clients was a victim of doxing.
So again, this doxing is another form of bullying, cyberbullying especially, and it tends to happen when people are already having arguments about things. Now, remember, this does not include
if I die tomorrow.
It does not include if you are telling people to part of their job, right? So that's different. That's a different case.
And public records. Let's get started.
Is doxing a felony? If you're wondering whether doxing, the act of revealing someone's personal information online without their consent, can land you in serious trouble, including felony charges, you're in the right place. Let's break it down. Doxing itself is not always a felony, but it can lead to serious consequences depending on the circumstances.
Again, if you're just joining us, Doc, we're talking about bullying today, what it is, how we can stop it, and the narcissists that tend to perpetrate it. Doxing is just a form of bullying.
Doxing is specifically defined and penalized under the law. For example, in New Jersey, doxing is considered a crime of the 4th degree, which means it's punishable by up to 18 months in prison, a fine of up to $10,000 or both.
Oh.
However, if the doxing results in more severe outcomes, such as serious bodily injury, physical harm, or stalking, it can escalate to a crime of the 3rd degree. In this case, the penalties are more severe, including 3 to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $15,000. In other states, like Oklahoma, doxing specific groups such as police officers can be a misdemeanor, punishable by 6 months in jail or a $1,000 fine. But if the doxing leads to more severe consequences like death, mental anguish, or significant economic injury, it could potentially be charged as a felony. The key factor is the intent and the outcome of the doxing. If the doxing leads to harassment, cyberstalking, threats, identity theft, or provokes violent acts, these offenses can be prosecuted under various laws, and the perpetrator could face felony charges. For instance, in cases where doxing results in severe harm, such as a swatting incident that leads to someone's death, the doxer could face significant prison time. There was a case where a doxer was sentenced to 5 years in prison after a swatting incident resulted in the victim's death due to a heart attack.
Ooh.
In summary, while doxing itself is not always a felony, it can become one if it leads to severe consequences or if it violates specific state laws that protect certain individuals or groups. The severity of the punishment depends on the intent behind the doxing and the harm it causes.
All right, so there you go.
To learn more, check out these links.
Just wanted to touch on that. So, is there any case law? Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like from this particular video, the lady was quoting some case law. Although, Crook, if you have any, if you could find any case law or anyone knows any case law from Illinois in particular, I would be curious to know that. All right. So if we go back to our agenda here. Come on, show up on my screen. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh, hey, Diana. How are you? No apologies, it's you. This is so weird when StreamYard does this. It's like you can see the window right here. There we go. Okay. I just wanted to review. Okay, so we covered bullying in person and online. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about narcissist. Oh, it's fine. You're cooking. Yeah, no problem. Crook is being Chef Boyardee, he says. Hello to the room. Hey, Ryan. That's great. I love great food. I love great food. I partially cooked my dinner. I haven't finished it yet. Conscious says, no apologies. How are you? Okay, let me go to the narcissism thing here. And I'm not going to watch the whole thing. We're going to skip around a little bit, but I thought this video was interesting.
Empathy, the entitlement, the grandiosity, the arrogance, the envy, the admiration and validation seeking, that whole laundry list, the egocentricity, all the selfishness, all that stuff, right? So all of that is happening. It's chronic, it's pervasive, it shows up in their life in a whole bunch of different relationships. The difference is they actually go to a therapist's office who's licensed and trained to issue a diagnosis, and that therapist determines yep, I'm seeing these patterns, they're consistent, they're across situations, and they may assign them that diagnosis. The vast majority of people who have this personality style are never going to be in a practitioner's office who's going to make that determination. And it gets tricky, right? Because to call something a disorder raises a whole bunch of issues. Personally, Jay, if I ran the world, I think we'd get rid of this diagnosis. I think we get nothing out of it. I don't even think it helps the clients. A lot of clinicians don't issue it because it feels stigmatizing. There's a whole host of reasons I think it shouldn't be, but it is right now. Here's what you've got to remember. When we look at narcissism in the world, right? So there's people out there who are narcissistic. They might be mildly narcissistic and a little bit more emotionally immature and just sort of selfish and shallow, all the way up to severe, where it can be malignant and it can be coercive and manipulative and all of that. And there's all the stuff in between. This book is really focused on the in-between, right? So most people aren't dealing with someone coercive. And many are, and that's a much more severe issue that is probably beyond the scope of the book. But most people who are dealing with the mild narcissism, they're frustrated and annoyed, but they're not devastated and hurt like we see in that sort of middle level of narcissism, right? So the difference is literally that sort of mechanical point. They weren't seen by someone. And I don't know that anybody, listen, I'll be honest with you. If I met someone at a dinner party and they start telling me their life, I might even think in my head, I've got a hypothesis clinically what's happening. In no universe we occupy would I ever say to that person, even if I talk to them for 2 hours, I think you have generalized anxiety disorder. I think you have bipolar 2. I just wouldn't say it, right? It's not the setting, it's not the situation. I might strongly suggest, say, hey, you should talk to someone, right? So where it gets interesting is the mistake a lot of people make is, number one, they assume that if a person has narcissistic personality disorder, that their narcissism is more severe. Not necessarily. There are people out there with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, whose narcissism actually is not as severe as people who were never diagnosed because they never went into that situation. So you see what I'm saying? Yes. So there's people out there who are malignant narcissistic people. They're never seen by anyone. We can speculate. We could spitball. We'd say, yeah, it's probably the case. But that person with NPD may simply seen a clinician.
A lot of sense. Why do you think it is that all of a sudden it seems, at least culturally, that more people are interacting with narcissists? Like you'll be talking to a friend and they'll be like, oh God, I'm so glad I just got out of a relationship with a narcissist, or I'm struggling, I'm healing, as your book teaches you how to, like, I'm healing from this relationship I had. I think they were narcissistic. Like, why is it all of a sudden we're feeling this kind of awareness in culture? Has it always been there? Has it increased? What's happened?
It's always been there, Jay. I think as long as there were people, it has been there. And I always say to people, open up a history book. I'd say about 75% of the people they've written about in that history book were probably quite narcissistic. Narcissistic people.
Your favorite movies and shows together. Because Disney Plus has...
Make history. And in fact, honestly, they often are responsible for some of the greatest innovations we've ever known. Doesn't make them nice people. And I'd say, let them innovate, just don't go on a date with them. That's really what we're talking about here. So there is an out-of-the-boxness to them. There's a fantasy that they live in that they often feel compelled to create. So you better believe that they've always been there. I don't know that we would have had the leaps and bounds we've had in some ways without that, right? So that said, it's always been there, but we never had a name for it. Remember, psychology is a field in its infancy. What's it been around? 150, 175 years? So it's evolved. There was almost a strange sort of universal radical acceptance that some people are just really jerky and let's just follow what they're saying. And so we just didn't even think of it that way. But we see history books of kings who were ogres and invaders who were horrific. And these were not nice people. They were the narcissists of their time. Now, to your other question, why are we talking about it? Like, even 10 years ago, a person wouldn't have said my partner, my boyfriend.
You wouldn't have heard it. That's
right?
what I mean.
But they would have said, first of all, we didn't have the platforms, but if they did talk about, they're such a jerk. Why do they keep doing this to me? I can't figure this out. Everyone has always been having the conversations. We're using different languaging now. And if anything, we now have a construct. We now understand this hangs together. The point of this book was really to say, there are people with these personalities. They're out there. The way they show up in relationships is pretty consistently the same. And instead of blaming yourself and wondering what you could do, it's not you.
Yeah.
It's really them, and they're having their process and their journey. And
I wanted to ask you a question. How do you stop attracting a narcissist? Like, is there a way to not attract a narcissist?
Jay, I wish I could say yes. And here's where I want to actually give my props to everyone's listening out there who has attracted a narcissist. You know why you attracted a narcissist? Because you're attractive. And what I mean by attractive is you may be physically beautiful. It may be your physique. It may be your something you know. It may be your social status. It may be that you could do something for them. What's attractive to them may not be attractive to the rest of us. You're attractive to them because you're attractive, because you may have power of some kind in the world. When I say power, I don't mean like you're a leader. I mean, you're self-possessed. Many people who get into these relationships, we have this mistaken assumption that the people who get into these relationships are shrinking violets who have low self-esteem. Absolutely not. I've got to tell you, some of the people I've seen get into these relationships, I'm like, whoo, I should have your self-esteem. They're strong, and they know who they are, and they're saying, this thing dismantled me brick by brick. I was really well put together when I met this person, right? So this isn't about a person who doesn't have self-esteem. It can be, but it's definitely not an absolute. Narcissistic people are attracted to people who will give them supply. What is supply for every narcissistic person is different, but it's usually physical attractiveness, status, praise. So you just being a nice person and praising someone could actually be what makes you attractive to them. So people may think, well, does that mean I have to stop being me? I'd say no. They may be attracted to you and you may be compelled for a minute. But the key is then to know how to get off the carousel before it starts going too fast.
Good answer. Good answer. I'm like, it makes a lot of sense. And again, it's not you.
It's not you.
It comes back to that.
So how many of you can think of, different politicians, YouTubers, people you knew from school, work, that, were like that, right? Like they really want to be around you and they find you so fascinating and cool and everything. But then once they've used you, you're like, goodbye. Or I should say that's what they're saying, to you, goodbye. And then, you're left feeling hurt and like, what just happened? So these are often the bullies in our lives, the narcissists.
Which I like. Walk me through the consistent, you talk about narcissism being consistent. Walk me through the consistent pattern of a narcissistic relationship so that anyone who's listening can, because I think, like you're saying, a lot of us sometimes feel scared to admit that we might even be with a narcissist because it's scary to accept that and admit that and have that realization because we think it's something to do with us. We think we've wasted time. There can be a sunk cost bias of, I thought I had a future with this person. So walk me through the pattern.
You said you have to ask, as in like there's narcissistic bullies everywhere. I'm assuming that's what you meant.
Of a narcissistic relationship.
Let's just talk briefly about their piece first, because it helps us understand the pattern. They have traits, things like I talked about, the entitlement, the lack of empathy, the grandiosity, the arrogance, the selfishness. I want you to think of a narcissistic person as a volcano. And that volcano has got this bubbling lava. And the lava for the narcissistic person is shame and insecurity. So they want to be able to plug the top of that volcano, right? And that plug is all this stuff, the entitlement, the grandiosity, I'm perfect, I'm great. It's this, so it keeps all that stuff under wraps. That's not a conscious process, right? So, but every so often in life, something's gonna push that lid off to the side, which might be feedback, a criticism, somebody ends a relationship with them, whatever it is, their day doesn't go the way they want. They get stuck in traffic and they're late to something. They don't get the table they want in a restaurant. Whatever it may be, that nudges that manhole cover over and the lava starts spilling out. And that lava is their rage and their anger because their shame has been shown. All of this is unconscious. So all these patterns in the relationship, the way they show up in the narcissistic person is manipulation, invalidation of the other person, minimization of what another person is going through, gaslighting, rage and reactivity, future faking, which means promises are made and broken just to keep a person sort of on the hook. There will be blame shifting. They won't take responsibility. They'll always blame the other person, which is why people in these relationships always tend to blame themselves. There's a lot of deceit, betrayal, lying, infidelity. There is neglect. Over time, they just give less and less.
Wow. So I'm sure, can any of you identify with any of this? For me, I feel like those of us that are more empathic, I feel like I'm more of an empath. Because remember, narcissists they would be the opposite of an empath, right? So they have a very difficult time feeling what other people feel or imagining what other people feel and empathizing with them. When you're an empath, you're like, oh wow, that happened to that person. He just lost his job. He must feel so angry, disappointed, sad, ashamed. But a narcissist, remember, they have a difficult time doing that. It doesn't really get to them ever. They're like, oh, he just lost his job. So anyway, yeah. So can I get some more money? Like, ooh, maybe maybe I can use that for my benefit. And then the empaths of the world are like, oh my God, how could you do that? That's horrible. So for those of us that, like me, I feel like I'm more of a natural empath. We have to be careful because we are the prime targets of narcissists, right? We feel other people's pain in the world a lot of times too much. So it's great to be empathic. We just have to be careful and that we're not trying to take on everyone's problems. And when the narcissist meets us, they they love empaths, because then we're like, oh yeah, you abused me and you did that and you told me to, oh yeah, and it was probably my fault. I mean, oh, because you had so much trauma growing up, and oh, you did this and you did, oh yeah, and I probably didn't say the right thing, and and then we want to take responsibility, and they're looking to give the responsibility, right? Like, yeah, that's right, because nothing, I never caused the problems. Look, I came and I tried to help you and I tried to do this and that, and you only gave me this, and you didn't give me enough money, you didn't give me enough love, you didn't give me enough kind words. And so that's why I try to work on that. And those of you that are the extreme empaths, hopefully you realize that about yourself, and it's not a bad thing. Embrace it about yourself. You can't help your natural personality, and that's a good thing. We just have to be careful so that we are not overcome by other people's emotions and problems, so that we make sure we have our boundaries, because otherwise we are the perfect targets for the narcissist. And that does sound good, Crook, which you are pigeon peas. Oh, empanada with vegetables. Grace Levi says, yes, I agree with you. No apologies. Many people are like this. I'm an empath. Oh, wait, what did no apologies say? Oh, okay. Do you think everyone has a level of narcissistic? Yeah, that's a good question. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Everybody can be at a certain point in time, and I've even seen with some people, it might depend on the person. You might have a person or a group that you engage with in a more empathic manner, and then someone else, yeah, where maybe you are more narcissistic, where you're just like, I don't care if they're suffering, I don't care what they're feeling, I'm just going to push forward with what I want to do. You're an empath, Grace? Yeah, I definitely am. Conscious that I believe we do. I'm sorry, I missed the context for that. If Ryan's still on, show them a picture when I'm done. Maybe he'll share it. Oh, nice. We all need a little self-love, but is that narcissism? That's a good question. No, I don't think so. Self-love is really, 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 really important. But the narcissist takes it to a new level. So it's not self-love. It is the exaltation of, of self over and above everything, right? And they just don't even see it. And everyone else around them is like, oh my God, can't you see what they're doing? And they're like, what? So it's really, they're very dangerous.
And less to the relationship, and the person in the relationship is trying to make do on the tiniest bits of being noticed. That's how they show up in the relationship. Everything in the relationship is about them getting supply and validation. They have absolutely no interest in the needs, wants, and honestly, the subjective reality of the other person in the relationship. Over time, the other person gets almost as considered an inconvenience. If you want something, you're an inconvenience. Much like this cup. Cup's convenient when I want to drink from it, but if the cup all of a sudden said, hey, can you take me to CVS on the way home? Like, what, cup? You're a cup. Don't tell me that.
Isn't that crazy? That is so true. We all have some signs of narcissism, but it's better to lead with your heart and put others' feelings first. It's hard. Right. No, I agree with that, Grace, because like I said, especially those of us that are more sensitive. I was always bullied growing up, being gay, being more of a sensitive person, being someone who's into music, the arts. So yeah, I mean, I definitely experienced that for years and years, and I know what that's like. And we never want to throw that away. Like you say, lead with your heart. Look, we have to love ourselves. We can't be like, oh, I should be. Sometimes I felt bad, like I should be more hardened and just not care, I mean, I don't think that's the answer either. It's just important to make good boundaries. But you know, I must say I'm not following everything that is going on with certain other activists. But I did see something the other night where I saw a certain person that could be said to have these narcissistic tendencies and basically just discarded someone like, you know, who would be like an empath. And I guess I'm not surprised, but still, you know, when you see stuff like that, it just reminds you, it's like, whew, wow, you know, you have to protect yourself, because unfortunately, like she said, a true narcissist just sees you as a useful object. And I see that in Mayor Clark. I see that in a lot of these politicians. If you're useful to them, they'll contact you, they will use you, but as soon as they're done, they'll dispose of you. It's unfortunate all this chaos is happening and rolled into our right. Yeah, it is. That's why I want us to talk about it and understand what is going on.
So they view us in that sort of objectified lens. All of these dynamics mean that over time, in order for the relationship to work, the other person has to entirely sacrifice themselves and buy into the reality system of the narcissistic person. But that doesn't all happen overnight. Oftentimes, at least in an adult narcissistic relationship, whether it's an intimate relationship or friendship, that early phase is very idealized and seductive. It's called love bombing, but it's really this phase where they're winning, not only winning you over with gestures and tactics, but with attunement and attention, or seeming attunement and attention. They pay intense attention to you. What you realize afterwards is some of that intense attention was them learning things about you that were going to be turned around and used against you down the road. That's often a point of devastation for a person who says, I was vulnerable with this person. I told them things that I'd never told anyone before. And then 6 months in, I was being shamed and humiliated, and you know, it was being used to sort of destabilize me. Mm-hmm. There was
Can anyone identify with that? Oh my goodness. Yes, I have definitely experienced that. Wow. A lot could be said for that, right? So just be careful, especially with all the activism and stuff that's going on politically in the Southland. You may notice people, if you're a YouTuber, you might notice this love bombing, as she mentions, of the narcissist, that, you know, may not be, that might appear that they're your best friends, that they're giving all these compliments, but your best interests may not be in mind. They may just be trying to get information from you so they can use you. But I agree with Grace in that, does that mean we should become jaded and unfeeling and, you know, rude and cold to the world? No, it's just, one of the things that I believe is that I think if you just spend enough time with someone, usually their character by how they treat others will be revealed. So then you'll know if they really, really, you know, because if they're like, oh my gosh, Cynthia, you're just so amazing, and and they're doing all this love bombing. Usually I find if it is someone trying to take advantage, it's not going to last forever, right? They're going to eventually lose interest if they see that they're not getting enough out of you of whatever they wanted, favors, information, you know, what have you. Ooh.
The point where that love bombing phase then starts heading into a place where there's 10 good things, 1 bad thing.
Your favorite movies and shows together. Because Disney Plus.
1 bad thing. Everyone has a bad day. 9 good things, 1 bad thing. Over time, though, that ratio pretty much comes to like maybe 1 to 1. So now you're having as much difficult, challenging stuff, and then these little sprinklings of good things happening. That's the origin of the trauma bond. That back and forth, good, bad, hot, cold, I'm here, I'm not here, is where people will often find themselves falling into a cycle of justifying, blaming themselves, because it was so great. It was great for 2 or 3 months. So how did it not become great? Maybe I'm doing something. So the person will literally, it's almost like, when you open a bag, you're trying to find something in a bag and you take everything out of the bag chaotically and it's all in the airport on the ground. And it was that one little, like your headphones. That's what people in narcissistic relationships do. They open the bag that is themselves and pull everything out, trying to figure out what is wrong with me. Why did we go from, baby, where can I take you to dinner? I'll take you anywhere, to what? Like, please stop interrupting me. And you're thinking, what just happened?
That's so true.
And so basically, once the narcissistic person almost feels kind of confident they've got your supply, whether it's a promise, maybe you live with them, maybe you've really committed into a long-term relationship, you said I love yous or whatever, that they've got you where they want you, then there's sort of almost, not narcissistic folks are also very novelty seeking. They kind of get bored easily. So you being around, from time to time they'll be into you, but then from other times they won't.
Oh my God. So I don't know if anyone else is finding this useful, but that is so true. All these things are so true. No Apology says the name calling on the internet has gone too far. Let's get back to the business of the people. Exactly. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because this stuff has high stakes, right? I mean, people are harmed and killed, and careers are ruined. Relationships are ruined, all because of this sort of behavior. So that this is not okay. And if we're going to stop it, if we're going to protect ourselves and our communities, we do have to understand narcissism and how it works and how it will just destroy things. So they will tell on themselves. Let them talk. Right. I agree with that. Yep. Let them talk. Like she said, they lose. How many of these folks that you've noticed that tend to be, they're narcissistic, they have patterns of abusing other people, that you might think, wow, do they have ADHD too? Like they have a hard time concentrating. So again, if you give them the test of time to say, they say they love me, they want to spend time with me, they want to get to know me, they want to help me accomplish my goals. Let's give that a few months. Like, let's see if they actually, do anything. That time will tell, right? So I think it's interesting. For instance, like I know that a certain other YouTuber has been saying, negative things, or YouTubers, I think probably more than one, has been saying negative things about me. But it's like, oh, well, why all of a sudden? I've been here the whole time. All my contact information is online. My phone number, my email. Go to ryansgaychicago.com. It's there. So if people truly had a problem or had a question about things, like for instance, recently I heard someone was doubting that, or saying that I altered a video about one of the videos or something related to one of my arrests. And I was like, oh, well, if someone had a question about that, all my contact information is public. Why couldn't they just contact me? So a lot of times this deliberate miscommunication, trying to badmouth people, trying to spread negative things about people, there are ulterior motives there, right? They don't really want to find out whatever the question is, okay? But it's trying to discredit people so that their goals can be met. So I'm sorry. Yeah, what did I miss? Burgundy says name calling, doxing, live streaming court cases when the judge said it is not allowed, all that, but I'm glad people are waking up. Exactly. Yes, exactly. And no apologies. I agree, but we also have to call it out. Yes. I agree with both of those. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Let me go back to her. She's my new favorite lady now.
They do like the idea that someone's a constant source of supply. And then over time, there can be a real process of discard. It can feel like they just don't care at all anymore. Basically, what they do is they no longer fulfill the roles and responsibilities of what it means to be in a close relationship, which is empathy, compassion, kindness, attunement, self-awareness. These are the responsibilities we have in a human relationship, and they do not fulfill them. I even hate responsibilities. I think that they come automatically for a healthy maneuvering, where they'll pull you back, see how you're doing. Sometimes they'll even figure out, oh, they're happy now. Let me go see if I can spin that around a little bit.
Wow. I mean, those patterns sound so painful, and they found they sound so striking. What are the excuses that
Hinge and see if I can find someone new, right? Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
The child has to hold this parent in esteem, which means the child then needs to devalue themselves. What am I doing wrong? How could I be more? And the child really learns how to be everything that parent wants and needs to the detriment of their own needs, right?
This is our backstory.
These are exactly. So now let's just jump that to adulthood, right? So the child comes up with all kinds of fantasies. But in adulthood, they may be things like everyone has a bad day, relationships are tough, I'm no picnic myself, they've been working really hard. We did have a good weekend. They did tell me I love you. I mean, I could go on for the next 2 hours about all I've heard, right? Justification. They're just with sort of what the prevailing wisdom would be. And you do that enough every time these really invalidating, destabilizing things that cut to the core of your identity happen. The people who tend to get more stuck in these relationships, quite frankly, are the more empathic people. While narcissistic people are attracted to people who are whatever supply attractive they are to them, the people who get stuck are the people who are more vulnerable to trauma bonding and who have more empathy, and as a result are more likely to make those excuses and justifications.
Okay, wait, hold on, guys. And Crook, I know you're my mod, but you're probably cooking. I did see the comments about someone demanding an apology, but no, I don't want to get into that right now. Let's save that till the end. If people do want to talk respectfully and honestly and openly, that's great, but don't save that till the end. Please don't put that in the chat right now. Save your comments. You made a comment about Tracy and Grace, but I don't want people to start fighting. Let's do this in an orderly fashion, please. What did you mean, no apologies? Conscious, do you think that this is what they want to keep us from knowing what is really going on? I wasn't quite sure what that meant. It sounded interesting. Wait, are we doing apologies? Get in line. Right. Exactly. So let's hold that dialogue, please. Everyone should have paid attention when it was Burgundy. What Tiffany say? Me today, you tomorrow. Yep. Many apologies. It would be a great start. No, and I'm all for that, right? Okay. All right. Let's yes. Okay, Anol's good. Excellent. I don't want no drama. Exactly. Yeah. Let's just wait. No, that is good though. Like I want in my ideal world, everybody would come on and just talk about things and resolve them in a respectful way. But I do want to get through the agenda first. So save that to the end. Let's all take a deep breath. Be kind. Don't put it in the chat right now, please.
Right? They're going to be more open to the idea that there's always different ways to. There's another point of view. That's what empathic people do. And that's how it happens. But in a trauma bonded relationship, and it's also about cognitive dissonance, right? That we don't like the tension of inconsistency within ourselves. So we're always trying to make it fit. And how do we relieve that tension and make it fit? We justify. Then we can maintain the status quo. And human beings are also homeostatic creatures. We like the status. I want to keep living here. I want to keep having this routine. I don't want to find a new place to put my toothbrush. I don't want to wake up in a new place, even if you kind of might want to. Over time, many survivors will say, I don't even care if I wake up in a random place, as long as I'm not waking up here. But how much terribleness had to happen to the person in that period of time. And so a person is just getting sort of slowly distanced from their true nature. The longer a person is in a narcissistic relationship, the more they literally have to abandon themselves.
What you do not want to do is affirmations. So every morning I start my day by asking myself something like 27 questions.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Choose compassion. Oh, where did my comments go? Sorry, I lost my comments for a second. We should explore that. I think we all want the same thing, the truth. Yes, I agree. I really agree that I think everyone that's coming to the table in the activist world, in the YouTube world, in this online sphere to help the South End wants to help And I guess, we just have to make sure that we're doing that in a respectful way and not hurting people in the process. The officials always wanted to divide, everyone divided. Correct. Because if we come together, then we will be asking questions and we will overthrow the politicians that are in office that have been doing shenanigans like Tiffany did, and 10 times worse for 10 times longer, right? Well, can't do that. That's why there's this sort of like, did you notice how the meetings are so quiet now? Almost no one's asking questions. At least in Dalton and in Thornton Township, they're paying for parties, approving all sorts of budgets without sharing it with the public. They're doing the things that they said that Tiffany should not do, and they condemned Tiffany for. So I don't understand why. Okay, and then Grace. Oh, I see your comments. No, don't worry. We'll get to it, but just save that to the save that for the end, okay, for now. So just wait. And Tracy, yes, I want to give you all a chance to respond. Just hold it to the end. Hold it to the end, please.
That's what I wanted to touch on, actually, where you got to is, what is the impact of narcissistic abuse? Like because I think often we also think like, oh yeah, well, you should know that he was a waste of time, or well, look what she did to you. Like you should be where it's
right.
Yeah. So
radical acceptance is I have to say there's probably two essential ingredients to healing. You're going to go through radical acceptance, you're going to go through grief, and then it's sort of people are going to go on different paths. But radical acceptance is the absolute acceptance that these patterns this person's behavior is not going to change, at least not significantly enough to make this into a healthy relationship, that this behavior affected you. And as long as you're in the purview of this behavior, as long as they keep doing this to you, it will keep hurting you. Because some people have said to me, they say, I radically accept it, they're not going to change. How come when they say these things to me, it still bothers me? I'm like, because it's hurting you. It's still hurtful. Just because you understand why it's coming out of them, you didn't just become a piece of concrete. Like you still have a soul and a heart and a psyche that can be hurt. So some people, I think, thought radical acceptance was like a magic pill, that if I take this, the narcissistic person will never bother me again. And so all of that solution, it's the capacity to be able to self-regulate and to self-soothe. Those are some of the things I'd file into that sort of that flexibility. And I'm not just saying it's like that they're able to maintain what almost feels like a delusional self-schema. Those things are not amenable to change. And again, the nice thing about being an old lady is I've been doing this so long that I've seen cases 15, 20 years. And when I tell you that there's been some interesting things they've learned about themselves. In some cases, they had co-occurring conditions. Addiction's a great example. The addiction is managed, like they've been sober for many years, but that core personality, they are definitely not fit for at least not one where someone's not going to get hurt. So that radical acceptance of the all of it, that moment is the penny drop moment, because now people see the path forward very differently. This is no longer, once the kids grow up, it's going to get easier. This is no longer when he gets the promotion, things are going to get better. This is no longer when the grandkids come, my parent is going to calm down. This is it. And I've sat with many clients and said, I'm going to put something to you. And I'm going to say, if I were to tell you, this is it, this is never going to change, how would that affect the decisions you make? And most clients will say, can I tell you next week? Because that's a lot to take in. But the challenge with radical acceptance, Jay, is that I wish I could say it's and the light comes in the window. A couple of things is that radical acceptance doesn't mean you're signing off on this. It doesn't mean you're giving into it. It doesn't mean you're agreeing with it. It's not that. It is,
let's talk a little bit about gaslighting.
Lighting you. What else can someone do when they're kind of oscillating between that? I think I'm making progress, I'm not sure anymore. I think I'm making progress, I'm lost again. What do you find in that period?
Embrace the oscillation. right? Because it's calibration, right? You're sort of, it's like a child wobbly on their feet when they're learning to walk. You're learning this again. And so that wobbliness is it's their internalized voice and your individuated self kind of.
Oh, isn't that good? Okay, so again, we're talking about, if you just joined us, we're talking about bullies. A lot of bullies are narcissists. And so if you have been subject to that, one of the things that, and I forget her name, I'll get her name again for us, this psychologist, but she was saying, oh yeah, no problem, Knowles, no problem. She was saying that even if you come to terms with the people that bully you or that have bullied you, and you're like, okay, I know they're probably never going to change. They may never change. I can't control them. I'm doing my best to move on. I'm protecting myself. I'm standing up for myself. And you hear someone, say something cruel again, that we're still going to hurt. Like, that's still normal. And that happens to me. Like I said, there are a few YouTubers, where people, I usually am very busy between work and all the Harvey stuff. I don't usually have time to watch many people's channels, even though there's like a lot of good stuff on there. It's hard for me to keep up with everything. But people will say, hey, did you know so-and-so said this about you? And so-and-so said that, and you hear these things and you're like, oh, that's a lie. That's not true. That's a lie. That's not true. I don't necessarily respond every time, but does it still hurt? Yeah. Like I'll just use Burgundy as an example. She's online since she was bullied so much, so she might have processed that and sort of made her peace to say, oh, a lot of these people, they were politically motivated. They were coming after me because I was asking questions about money and resources that they didn't want asked, and maybe they're never going to leave me alone, and I'm okay with that. But that still doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. So if they come back and say another lie, it is natural to feel hurt. But I want to hear more about what this lady says about gaslighting.
And having a little bit of an argument, and sort of view that part of you that's trying to individuate, like say, you got this, and that's an old voice, and that we can just sort of say, you're actually not welcome here anymore. Like, you could just step out, thank you. And it's the individuated voice and the narcissistic internalized, the gaslighted and internalized voice, and they're still fighting it out. And we feel as though, aren't I? Just like today, anyone watching that call, would have said this was not okay, and the person was almost like the emperor's not wearing any clothes, right? That this person was saying, this emperor is naked, go away, Romney, go away. And so I think that initially we need those voices a lot more, and there'll still be times when we will because I think there's certain trigger situations that kind of remain pretty consistent for survivors for a long time. We do hold it internally, and we were told too, Jay, many survivors are told they're uppity if they want to achieve a goal. Do you really think you're going to pull that off? Like, I think you're reaching a little too high. So they were minimized and trivialized for wanting to do something that they still hear that inner voice of, don't be ridiculous. You're never going to be able to do that. And they make that voice their own instead of trying to learn like that. That was an unwanted visitor. So let's see if you can. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. This is a carousel that really takes a toll on people, but it can be done. But that oscillation starts to become a little less oscillatey. The more people have these validating voices, people build up what we call efficacy, the idea that they're able to do something, right? So the first time we're able to do something successfully, from make a cake or
your favorite movies and shows together.
Oh man,
because
Disney Plus really wants
has
us to pay for
change the oil in our car, use a drill and put something in the wall. What it does to the psyche is remarkable. So I tell survivors, keep trying new things, because the more efficacy you build, that also helps foster individuation. So I'm like, grab the drill. If you put a few holes in the wall, but the picture goes up, you're going to feel really good about the picture going up. Try to make the difficult souffle. You may burn a few, but when it's made, great. I did try to do this with bread. I still have not successfully raised a loaf of bread. So it's my last neurotic wound. But I think that when we find that some people learn, and other people do all kinds of interesting things. I see like some folks I've worked with learned languages and they learned how to play a musical instrument. And they'll say this feels so good because back in the day I would have been made fun of for this. Those who are able to get out will say it's so interesting to do this. And that confidence starts jumping into other areas of their life.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a rehabilitation
It is
of
right.
self-identity, self-worth, self-confidence.
So I hope that helped you guys. Let me go back. I just wanted to show, let's see, who is her name? Oh, Jay Shetty Podcast is the name of it. Dr. Ramani. But that's great, isn't it? I'm like, shoot, I should go back and watch some more of that. Oh, she has a whole bunch of videos. Look at this. Toxic signs you're dealing with, blah, 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 blah. 4 things to never say to a narcissist. Okay, wait. Oh, wait, I have to, 1 sentence that'll make a narcissist for you. Yeah, but that's a little too long. Wait, let me see this. Here. Sorry, I'm getting distracted, but I want to see, what is she going to tell us?
Just help you waste less time in these relationships. I'm starting here to say that. I know you want to say these things. I want to say these things to them. We all do. But it gets you nowhere. Remember that it's not foolish to want to say these things to a narcissistic person, but if you keep saying them, in some ways it can really keep you stuck in an endless loop in this relationship.
Okay,
Just don't do it.
What are they? Tell us.
Like I said, I've made videos about this. I have talked about this before, but I think it bears revisiting from time to time. I know that the day you finally get it, that you have a name for what is happening in the relationship. I get it. No, it's narcissism. That day that you finally have their number, that you're done with their manipulative BS and recognize that they're nothing more than an insecure child in a charismatic wolf's clothing, you want to tell them, I see you and I see you clearly. You just want to pull their charming mask off and you want other people to know it too. Don't do it. And there's a few reasons for this.
Really?
First, just because you call them out as narcissistic, it's not like it's kryptonite or a bucket of water on the wicked witch. It's not like you're going to shut them down or make them melt. They are still masterful gaslighters and blame shifters. And if you call them out as narcissistic, it will come back at you. And if they are skilled manipulators, by the time they are done, you will believe that you're the one who's narcissistic or disloyal or cruel or mean. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is the enablers, because they're going to jump on it too. And now you're the bad one for saying that that person's narcissistic, because after all, maybe the narcissistic person was just going through a tough day or had a tough life, and that they don't think they're being.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done.
Their behavior is bad in the first place, in a trauma bond. Just because you know it's gaslighting doesn't mean that you're not trauma bonded. Whatever it is, don't say it. Don't tell them they're gaslighting you. It doesn't work. The key is for you to know that you are being gaslighted so you don't keep engaging. So you touch into your reality. You know your truth. You step out of it and don't go down the rabbit hole. Number 3 thing to never tell them. Don't tell them that you think that they can never change. You may glom onto this idea that narcissistic folks love a challenge. Like maybe if I tell them they're never going to change, they'll change. It's like you're baiting them, calling them out, hoping that they will absorb the challenge and try to change. You know the narcissistic person is inherently oppositional, and they will always fight back on anything you ask them to do just for the sake of holding their ground and exercising their freedom. If you tell them to do something, they will commit to not doing it, right? If you tell them they can't do something, you may then believe.
That's interesting. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you, Cynthia. I do miss my full-time teaching. Drop the link. Oh, to the video conscious? Sure. Yes, I will do that. Hey, JJ. And don't feel bad. I did see your comment, Grace. Yeah, no, don't feel bad. Just like I said, we're going to discuss at the end. So don't do it. It's not going to work for persons, people who have a cult around it. Right. Yes. So that maybe, is that why she's saying that? Yeah. Because I was like, well, why wouldn't you want to call them out? But yeah. sometimes too, don't you feel that if you try to call out a narcissist, like they want, maybe it's giving them what they want because they want attention. Although I do think that I do still think they need to be called. I don't know how I feel about that, about what she said. But let's finish that up, and then I'll give you guys that link to the other video.
Well, maybe you'll believe that they will take that as an oppositional call to action and they will do it. Probably not. First of all, if they try to prove it, that you're wrong and they can change, anything they do would probably be hollow and performative. It would be at them first angrily insisting that there's no reason for them to change, that you're the one with the problem, but then saying, okay, so tell me what to change. Tell me how to be different. And you may say, well, you're narcissistic. You can't change. And they'll say, tell me what? You tell me what to change. And you may tell them ability that they're because
okay, well, then go back. That one I didn't find quite as helpful.
And they'll say this feels
maybe because it's not broken up as much, but let me send you guys the link for the last one. And Crook, oh yeah, you were saying to blow it up. Yeah, I didn't really want to watch that much of that. So Dr. Ramani. Oh, okay. So JJ, you've heard of her? I had never heard of her. Hopefully she'll explain why to go gray rock with a narcissist. Ooh, that sounds fun. Dr. Ramani. You have to let a narcissist destroy themselves. It's like dealing with a levitation spirit. Only God can stop them. Oh, okay. Mystical. I don't know about levitation spirits, but that does sound interesting. Yeah, I sent you guys the link in the chat. Okay, so there you go. There you go. So JJ, you knew about this lady. I just found her, and then okay, somebody sent me something about gaslighting. A gaslighting video. Wait, is this a long one? Let me see.
What happens if someone keeps telling you, realize what's happening? You're making things up.
That's good. Wait, no, I think I want to play that. Wait, hold on. Let me open this. I'll play the gaslighting video too. This is what happens. I'm always like, oh my God, let me not take I don't want to take too long. Let me make this straight and to the point, and then other things come up. But that's okay. I think this would be worth it. Because gaslighting is another, we could just do a whole show on gaslighting, but I'll share this. It's not long. Excuse me. I'll tell you, it is so beautiful out here. It's beautiful outside. Okay, so it should give it a second. It should load. Come on, video. I swear I hit play. What is the problem? Oh, no, I didn't.
What happens if someone keeps telling you that you're insane? At first, you'd reject it. You know who you are. You trust your own mind. But over time, something shifts. Maybe you are a difficult person.
Kirk,
maybe you do overreact.
Well, actually,
maybe you're not as rational as you thought. And if enough doubt creeps in, you might start believing the one thing you never thought possible. Maybe they're right. This is gaslighting, a psychological weapon designed to make you question your own perception of reality.
Appreciate you.
It's not just lying. It's erasing truth itself and replacing it with something more convenient for the manipulator. And the worst part, by the time you realize what's happening, if you ever do, you're already trapped. The term comes from a 1944 film, Gaslight, where a husband slowly convinces his wife that she's losing her mind. He dims the lights in their home, then denies that anything has changed when she notices. The goal? To make her doubt herself so completely that she becomes dependent on him. But this isn't just a movie trope. It's a real-world manipulation tactic used in toxic relationships, cults, politics, and even corporations. Gaslighting works because it destabilizes reality itself. It starts subtly. The manipulator denies things they've said or done, even when there's proof. I never said that. You're making things up. At first, you argue back. But over time, hearing the same denials over and over chips away at your confidence. Next, they attack your ability to think clearly. You're always so dramatic. You overanalyze everything. Soon, you start doubting your own judgment, convincing yourself that maybe you are the problem. Then comes emotional manipulation. Any reaction you have is dismissed. Why are you so sensitive? You always blow things out of proportion. The goal is to make you question your right to feel the way you do. Eventually, you start second-guessing your own emotions, apologizing when you shouldn't. And then, the final step, isolation. Gaslighters don't want you hearing outside perspectives, so they slowly cut you off from other influences. They tell you your friends are making you paranoid, that your family doesn't really understand you. Bit by bit, they become the sole authority on what's real. At this stage, they don't need to manipulate you anymore. You do it to yourself. You stop questioning them. You silence your own doubts before they even have a chance to surface. You accept their version of events, not because you want to, but because your mind no longer trusts itself to disagree. Gaslighting is terrifying because it doesn't just manipulate your thoughts, it rewrites who you are. It makes you abandon yourself, handing over control to someone else without even realizing it. And by the time you finally see the truth, if you ever do, it feels impossible to break free. Because how do you fight back when you don't even know what's real anymore?
Right. Yeah. No, that was an excellent video on gaslighting. Choose says, gaslighting is a symptom of something bigger, and I can tell you why so many people got sucked into this. It's time. Yeah. That's why I always say, trust your instincts, be a critical thinker, ask for the receipts, ask for proof, right? So if I'm getting arrested because I'm asking for the receipts for the city of Harvey, if Burgundy Blue's getting bullied and harassed and doxxed because she's asking for the receipts in Dalton, we have to remind ourselves that as much as people may try to tell us that we are the problem, we are not the problem, right? It's not us. It's just that, and I've said this about Mayor Clark before, it's true. Like, he will literally do anything. He'll call you any name. He'll go after anyone. He'll find you, arrest you. He'll do whatever he can to avoid showing us where the money is. And I don't want to say, because I feel like I'm not a person that's obsessed with money. Like, I don't need a ton of money to be happy. But it's not really about the money. It's about the truth. And so Clark is one example of someone who will do anything but tell you the truth and show you how they're spending our money, our resources, because if the truth were to come out, there are probably some things there that they don't want us to see, right? Why else would you be hiding? So we've been seeing that same behavior in Dalton and Thornton Township. So, okay, thank you, A. Knowles. Okay, cool. I'll watch your email. So that is that. That was awesome. And then I wanted to briefly mention, we went over this last night, but if you did not know, we'll watch a quick which was this video? I think it was the Fox one, right? Yeah. If you did not know, I believe I forget how many days ago it was, but there were 2 people murdered. Honestly, people don't get divided on purpose. It's the ones at the top. Yeah. Always divide and conquer, right? If we come together, it's harder for those who are hiding what they are stealing and what they are doing, and things that are often harmful to people. It's easier for them to get away with those things if people are divided and they're fighting with each other rather than coming together. And that is why it's so important for us to first of all stop the bullying, but to also all come together and say, if we want to know the truth of what's going on in our towns, in the Southland, in the country, wherever, in your local park district board, whatever it is, big or small, like, we have to not fight over the little stupid things and not buy into the lies that will divide us, Okay, I wanted to share. So there were 2 people killed recently in Las Vegas, and supposedly it was over a YouTube rivalry. So my question for this part of the agenda is, let's go back to our agenda here. Where is the darn thing? It's doing that thing again where it like disappears on my StreamYard. Ah, there we go. Okay. All right. So, number 3, could Vegas murders happen here? This supposedly, all we're told, it stems from conflicts, bullying, cyberbullying. I believe some doxing was involved from YouTube and social media. So let's watch a quick synopsis if you had not been following it. Okay.
Manuel Ruiz held without bail.
Ruiz had his first appearance in court since turning himself in to Henderson police on Monday. We have also learned the names of the 2 victims, Rodney Finley and his wife Tanisha. They were killed by the Bellagio fountain on Sunday.
But he told police after he surrendered Victoria.
Ruiz claims it was all done in self-defense. That's according to this arrest report. But police say the video circulating on social media shows a different story, and it played a big role in his arrest. But we're also learning both Ruiz and Rodney were 2 YouTubers who were live streaming at the same time when the shooting happened.
Were arrested for 2 counts of open murder and use of a deadly weapon.
Manuel Ruiz faced a judge Tuesday with not much to say. A big difference compared to what this viral live stream allegedly shows. This video taken by victim Rodney Finley.
Yeah, oops, sorry. I wanted to go to show you because it happened so quickly. Get out of there, that thing. I don't want more videos. So they're on the strip, right? So you can see the alleged shooter. Watch him come up.
This video taken by victim.
So here he is. He's wearing glasses, and he's not all painted up, which I guess he is in a lot of his videos. This, I believe, is the wife that was killed, and then I'm assuming the husband is behind. But watch, you're going to see him fire some shots, or what appears to be him firing some shots. And
Rodney Finley and his wife Tanisha. Rodney is known as Finny the Legend on YouTube, and Ruiz is known as Sin City Manny.
Sorry,
according to the arrest report, both
I want him to go back to the... Okay, maybe...
Rodney and Ruiz were live streaming from Las Vegas Boulevard Sunday night. A viewer watching the live stream said he saw comments from others who were also watching Manny's YouTube live stream. The comments stated that Manny was across the street at the Paris Hotel and was looking for Finny. About 5 minutes later, the viewer sees Manny appear on Finny's live stream and saw Manny pull a gun from his waistband. He tells investigators he shot Rodney in self-defense. Moments later, you see Tanisha panicking and grabbing the camera her husband had set up, and then the gun is turned on Tanisha. Ruiz tells police he saw a shiny black object in her hand, which he believed to be a firearm. He said he shot 2 times at her. Police say Ruiz ran away to the Paris Hotel where he removed his hat and shirt. Later, it was Ruiz's wife who approached police, telling them she believed her husband just shot someone. Ruiz was arrested nearly 12 hours later when he walked into a Henderson police station after a friend convinced him to turn himself in. In the arrest report, Ruiz claims Finny posts content talking negatively about his wife and kids. Police say Ruiz was adamant he shot in self-defense. He insisted he did not know Finny and his girl were live streaming from that location. He denied ever making any threats toward Finny. And we're also learning Rodney and Ruiz had an altercation on Fremont Street recently, but the report doesn't exactly say when that was. Ruiz is back in court Thursday.
Yeah, that wasn't it. There was a better one from yesterday. Sorry, let me see if I can... What happened to that one from yesterday? I liked that one better. No! Did I lose it? 8 News Now. I think that was the one from yesterday. Ah, there we go. Okay, yes. Okay, I wanted to show something that showed you the whole video because I feel like that's more, and it's not like overly violent or anything, so don't worry. Sorry, I missed the comments. What happened? YouTuber did the shooting, was allegedly called out for fraud and scams. He's going to jail. He is such a liar. So sad. It is, isn't it? It's so sad. But I want to talk about this because this could I think it could very easily happen here if we don't start cleaning up our acts and, shunning and calling out the bulliers. And for those who are being bullied, do things to protect yourself, because I don't want to see someone shot or hurt or anything like this. This is very, very dangerous stuff. And people might think that they're just doing this all for money, popularity, views, power, whatever. But all it takes is one altercation like this. And look, these two people's lives, they were apparently sort of local YouTube stars in the Vegas area, and now their lives are over. Okay, so let's take a look. Excuse me.
Ordered it, and I want to make the.
That was the husband. I guess he was checking on their camera. Then you see the alleged assailant here, the one YouTuber. Okay, there's the wife.
Report that we see that person actually.
Okay, so you can see he fires his gun. It's really fast. Then the wife is here, so she's shocked.
Take out a gun and shoot somebody. We don't know if the other person's
She
dead.
grabs the camera.
Chaos on the Strip as we hear witness calls to police to report a YouTuber charged with killing.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you a little bit more of that. So, sorry, someone's playing their music. So, this is very serious. We've had people doxxed. We've had people, Burgundy can tell you. I'm sure if other people want to share, you're welcome to share your stories. But people have come to their homes to drive by to harass them. They've tried to ruin their jobs, ruin their careers. For me, the mayor has, they've spread that rumor about me for years that I was having sex or doing something sexually inappropriate with my students when I taught at the high school, which was not true. I was actually a very good teacher. And I was the one being bullied, but in true narcissist fashion, right? Oftentimes, another expression that I learned about narcissists that I like is they said, oftentimes accusations are confessions. So when you get accused of things, or when we, as activists or whatever, when we are falsely accused of things, pay attention to what they accuse you of. Because apparently it's something with a narcissistic personality that oftentimes they will accuse others of the things that they did. Just like, I don't know if you're aware, but there is actual documented proof that Trump cheated in the election using Elon and some of these high-tech companies. And now, whatever you think of Trump, you might love him, you might hate him, whatever, regardless. Again, I just want fairness, whoever's in office. So we have proof of that. But what do you notice? To try to almost, I feel like to try to deaden people to that idea that an election would be stolen. Remember all the years that he said that like Biden stole the election and that, he did this wrong, he did this wrong, all related to the election. So then by the time Trump comes around, in true narcissistic fashion, he actually does cheat, and we have the proof. No one's done anything with it yet. And then we have clips of him also saying, like, you're not even going to need to vote in the future. Don't worry. This is the last time you're going to have to vote. We got it all taken care of. And he says, oh, Elon really works with those vote machines. He really knows how to get those votes for, So it's not hard to see, but it's crazy how the narcissist, again, with that gaslighting, they will oftentimes be accusing you of doing the very things that they're doing. So it's just something to throw out there. But I don't want that happening, what happened in Vegas here, and it could happen. Think of all the stuff that you have seen various activists and YouTubers get involved in, some pointless fights, arguments, doxing, harassment, to at this point that we know of, no one has died because of it. There's been a lot of other damage, but how long are we going to tolerate that? Like, we've got to come together as a community and say this is not okay. Okay, and then the last step here before we get to more of an open forum, I just wanted to go over briefly, what do we do? How do we handle bullying? Now, we've already talked about that a little bit. Okay, so let's go back to It's so pretty out here, but the bugs are starting to fly around me now. Okay. Can you guys see? Okay, now you should be able to see. Got it. So it says, given that 34% of surveyed individuals in the U.S. are estimated to deny being aware of the existence of bullying, and many people blame the target of bullying. Oh boy, victim shaming. Can we even get to that? You know, hello. The first step is to raise awareness about bullying. Studies have been mixed on efficacy of anti-bullying interventions, with more research done in children and adolescents than in adults. Given that bullying can be one of the factors contributing to anxiety and depression, there is scope for further research in anti-bullying interventions, especially those involving the peer group. What can the peer group do? The peer group, oh my God, these guys love playing their motorcycle music very loud in the summer. The peer group members can engage in self-reflection. That's what we need to do tonight. How did I reach this conclusion? Did someone else suggest it? So when you hear YouTube, Facebook, whatever, are you repeating things that someone said and you have not seen proof? If you don't have proof, don't repeat it. And if you need motivation, think of that Las Vegas killing. And you'd say, oh, Brian, it would never get that far. You don't know that. Do I know this for a fact? Again, where's the proof? Did I ask questions that would disprove rather than confirm my current hypothesis? So try to eliminate the other options, right? Before you call someone a whore, or say that they stole, or say that they said someone bad about someone else or whatever. Try to make sure that, do you have proof? Make sure you're not being dictated by your emotions. Oh, no apologies. Says, hey, Crook. Do I not like this person, the target, for some reason? Or do I admire the person bullying? Ooh, now that's a good one. Okay. So how many times do we accept bullying because it's someone we may like, or we sort of favor them? And so we're like, well, I guess we can overlook it in this case because, I like so-and-so. Or it's someone like Tiffany, right? I always said, I heard someone, this has happened several times, but it happened recently again, where someone was trying to discredit me, saying that I was a Tiffany supporter. And I just laughed. I'm like, you got to be effing serious. Like, just because I oppose the corrupt things that Tiffany did, that doesn't mean that I'm going to jump on the bandwagon and hate on every single aspect of her and rip her life apart. She's still a human being. And the fact of the matter is the politicians like the Napoleons, the Thaddeus Jones, the Will Davises, the Chris Clark, the Speaker of the House, Chris Welch, the ones that are higher up in the party, the Democratic machine, they put Tiffany in place. They made sure she got in at Dalton in the township. Now, for whatever reason, they turned on her. But we know is that before she was even ever involved in politics, these guys, and they are mostly men, they were doing corrupt things as bad as Tiffany and way worse before she ever even did anything in politics. So why are they sheltered from any sort of scrutiny or questioning? But she is the one that people chose to, gang on. And then like my mayor and my alderman doing to me, trying to shame me, who is the victim of merciless and cruel bullying because I was a gay teacher at Thornton and I taught French very well. And I will never back down from that. I worked very hard and I made French fun and inviting and a safe class for a lot of kids who had a lot of problems at home, and a lot of them just didn't even want to be in school, period. So I'm very proud of my record as a teacher, and I have nothing to be ashamed of. But you notice how they try to shame us, the ones that are doing things right. And they're the ones that are violating people in front of our eyes, and we have proof for it. And then what did you hear Chris Clark say? You've heard him say it many means. Well, you can't. You think you're going to bring the smoke. Well, I'm going to bring it too, because you have no proof. You have no proof. You have no proof. We have proof. We've given it to the authorities. We continue to tell people what you're doing. You don't have the truth on your side, so all you can do is try to bully other people. I do not stand for that. What can you do if you're the target? Remember, the feelings you're experiencing are not yours to hold or carry. They belong to the person bullying. Making this distinction can help. Try not to take the bullying behavior personally. That can also be helpful. Keep your distance, if possible, from the person. And that is true, because again, as an empath, I'll often feel shameful, even for like, oh, well, maybe I didn't do enough as a teacher. Maybe I didn't do this, and that's where that is, where you have to step back and say, wait a minute, no, stop. Don't put that on me. That is your lie, bully. Now, what can the bully do? If you recognize you bullied someone, it can be helpful to self-reflect. Understand what may have led you to that behavior. Treating oneself and others with gentleness and kindness can help. So again, if you have engaged in bullying, that's okay. Say you're sorry. Own up to it. Try to make atonement for it. Don't kill yourself. Don't torture yourself even more, because that's probably not going to improve anything, right? Practicing putting oneself in the shoes of others can be a helpful exercise. Sometimes, depending on the circumstances, the situation might allow an opportunity to make amends. Remember, there's professional help. So, look, it talks about compassion, greater compassion. Choose compassion. Oh. Compassion is noticing others suffering with a desire to relieve suffering, okay? It reminds us that others are just like us. All right, so that is that. And then now we can wait. Let me go inside because it's getting a little cold again. Oh, and then I'll check that email, and then we can have our dialogue. If you guys want to talk, let's do it. But just remember, stay respectful, and let's not call names. We're going to try to moderate that so that we don't get people going crazy. Ugh. Some helpful things when you are having difficult conversations. Remember to ask questions and listen. Right? So again, if you feel like someone did something bad to you or to someone else, you may want to ask them about it. I have proof, or I believe that you did ABC XYZ. Is this true? What do you have to say about it? And maybe listen to the person and then go from there. But if we start off, saying, well, you're a B because you did this, and I hate you and I'm going to beat you up, that's like probably not the most productive, right? All right, sorry, I'm just checking for the email right now. Oh, Crook. Wait, did you just send me that, Crook? That was before. Got it. Okay. But yeah, so I hope that was helpful for you guys. So get your comments right now. We are done with we reached the end of the presentation part. So now it is... So now we talked about how to fight bullies. So yeah, that we're at the end now. We are at our interactive part. So we can head there. Let me look for this email really quickly. It was kind of hot in here. I had to put some AC on it, and now it's like it really cooled off, which is fine with me. This is like perfect. I love it when it's warm during the day and cool at night. Sorry, my emails are still loading. But yeah, Crook, are you free? Are you able to help moderate if we have people on right now? Or are you still in the middle of stuff? Let me know. Oops, sorry. Okay, I think I got what you were talking about. Okay. Yeah, I see. Okay, got the one. Now I'm looking at the second one. Oh, okay. It was the same. Did you send me the same email twice? I think you sent me the same email twice. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I think I got it. Come on. Yeah, no, I got it. A Knowles. It was just yeah, I think you sent the same thing twice. Okay, Grace says, heads up, I'm at work caring for my baby part-time. I think is that what you meant? PT just says, I'm not here for the drama, but I'll help people get closer so everyone can move on. Remember, my focus is Alexis, and then I'm done. Right. Well, no, I agree. That's why I'm saying we can let you guys talk it out. You know, I can try to moderate, but let's just make sure we're respectful and don't get out of control. Not trying to start anything, but that was too far. When the mayor said that about you, I thought that was so wrong, Ryan. That can damage a person. Yes, the same. Sorry. Okay, that's fine. Alrighty. All right. So, are we ready for the receipts? I guess. And remember, if there was something said that you're not proud of, it's okay to say that too. We all are human. Sometimes we say or do things that we don't mean, or that maybe we shouldn't have. I could send you mine, but your computer would overload. Oh, oh my gosh, Conscious, you must have like a huge computer. Yeah, I just have my little laptop, and probably gonna have to get a new computer. All right, let's see. Present. Crook, are you you never answered, so I'm guessing you're probably cooking away. All right, that's fine. All right, and I'll zoom in, make it a little bigger so you guys can see. Okay, how's that? Can you see it? I'm guessing, was this on a, I don't know whose live this was on, Trina's or what, but come on, stop. Okay, can you guys see all right? It was Trina's page. Okay, so it was Trina's live. So these are the comments in question. Trina, hey Trina, don't play. Grace too busy talking to dead folks. Cynthia, politicians and leadership. Hey, Cynthia, Wyoming, crickets. Hello, I just got to say hello, beautiful. Okay, let's go. Oops. Hey, Crook. Hi, Tracy, Cynthia Crook. Where are you at now? Grace Levi, Wyoming. Cynthia, choose compassion. Yesteryear, when they didn't want to pay the same bills they just paid. Trina, Wyoming. Tracy Crook, choose. Grace's money went the wrong way when someone's Cash App is looked into. Crook County listed something as a law, I guess. Trina, oh, that's right. Yeah, that is one of Trina's names. Okay, so she sent a link again. 8 months at least. Boop. I don't understand what that means, but vouch Trina on that. Again, preach Trina, preach. Told them folks Jed is a clout clown. He had Meek Mill. Oh, shoot. Ah, not that big. Piss Kool-Aid. Diddy made Meek butt queef. What? Damn. Look like two Oscar Marwinis lit up on a ditch bank. Grace reminds me of Predator. Hello. I think that was the last one. Okay, so that was the comment in question, I guess. So, well. So that was A. Knowles. That was your complaint, I believe, as far as the comment about that Tracy had made about Grace. So we'll give Tracy a chance to respond. If you want to... Right. No, just hold on, Grace. I want to... A. Knowles brought this up, so I want to give Tracy a chance to respond. And then, yes, and I know they were talking about you, so I'm not trying to ignore you, but I just want to give Tracy a chance to respond to that or clarify maybe what she meant or something. It's just about me being empathetic and be able to see too. Right. No. Do, own who you are and what you like and you don't like. That's where, Grace, yeah, that's where, so if you're still on, Tracy, that's where I wanted to have you respond. You can come on if you want, like to talk, or you could just respond via chat, however you feel comfortable. But it's only fair to allow everyone their say. Is Tracy still with us? Is Tracy with us? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so we'll give Tracy a second to see if she wants to come on and respond. Anybody else? Excuse me. Anyone else want to, express a frustration or just share something that they, an observation, anything about bullying? And like I said, Grace, I'm not ignoring you, but I just wanted you to wait so we can hear from Tracy first, because I don't want you to get extremely angry and upset before we've heard from her and, given her a chance to respond. But yeah, so if anyone else, not right there, people, it's okay. Maybe ugly to some and beautiful to others. It's okay. I'm not mad at them. Oh, okay. Not pet out. Yeah, no, I don't think that Tracy meant like a pedophile. I don't think so, but like I said, I don't want to speak for Tracy. But yeah, did Berg want to share? I'm trying to think who else was on. Critical, Berg, Tracy, Cynthia, Conscious. Hey, Tracy. Sorry, my phone died. I'm back. I was not calling Grace a predator. I was comparing her braids that she reminded me of the movie character, not calling her a predator. Oh, okay. So, does that clarify things, Knowles? Again, better to get it out there. I'd rather people get things out there than just let things fester, and then have more drama and anger behind the scenes. And then Tracy says, I apologize for the misunderstanding, Grace. Please forgive my petty comment. Can you forgive me, Grace? Oh, that's very sweet. And French thinks A. Knowles is trying to start stuff. You're a narcissist little loser if he's another drama you want attention. Hey, French, you scare me. I didn't even know you were there. Could be. I don't know. But I just thought, hey, you know what? If you want to bring it up, let's make peace. I love when people get along. I'd rather just resolve things. Thanks, Tracy. Conscious says, French, stop it. Because actually, that was very sweet. Tracy gave a lovely apology, asked for forgiveness, trying to make sure that people's feelings don't get hurt. I think that's awesome. I am coming. Tracy says, I'm coming to Grace as an adult. Wyoming says, hello. Hello, Wyoming. Grace says, it's okay. I will not be upset. I've been through hell and back. I do have a big forehead. That's very gracious of you, Grace. I thought maybe you would be like really furious. Right. It's between Grace and you. Exactly. Yes. Yes. And Anil says, no, definitely not. I love Conscious, so really don't care what you think. Everyone should treat everyone better. And this is where healing starts. I forget. LMBO. I don't know what that means. I forgive you. You didn't do anything. It's a joke. I joke on myself all the time. I appreciate you, Tracy. Thank you for your forgiveness. Me too. Me too on these YouTube streets. Oh my God. I'm so excited for us tonight. I love when people get along. It makes me so happy. God bless you both. Heart. Bravo. May you all, and may this set the example for all the YouTubers and the politicians, and hopefully people will be kinder to one another. Yeah, no, I agree, Knowles. This is amazing. Yes, I do agree. Communication is key. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the very least, if we know that, if something was said and the person wants to clarify and say, maybe you thought it meant this, but it didn't, or, regardless, I want to apologize, and let's make sure, that no insults were intended, et cetera, et cetera. Better to do that. And I figure if you put it out there and then people are still being vindictive because they have hidden agendas, they want money, they want views, they want influence, they want power, then so be it. You know what I mean? But at least, what is the, there's that one Bible verse that says, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone, or something like that. But I like that idea, right? That as much as you can, try to be at peace with the world. And if there are people like the narcissists we talked about, if they truly are not going to ever change, and even when you try to set things straight, they don't want to participate, that's okay. We can't control that. Let's hold hands and skip. Oh, just kidding. Be kind. I agree with that. Oh, Conscious, I'm sorry we lost you. They no, they were just like, Tracy and Grace talked it out, so I think they're good. God is great. If everyone did come together, these corrupt leaders are in trouble. Strength in numbers. I agree. I think that's what Choose Compassion was saying. God is love. God is good. I have seen and Heard far worse. It is so shameful. Right. For instance, I don't like. I'm glad that tonight we sort of work some things out here. I unfortunately don't ever expect Chris Clark to apologize or to make up for it. Like I said, because in my view, and by it I mean by saying that I was abusing students when I taught, which is horrible thing to say. But I know that he is hiding where the money is and hiding what he's been doing in office because he's trying to shield himself from being held responsible for bad things that he is doing and that he has done. So, I think that's where you can see, again, we can only try to live at peace with others, but some people, because they want to continue to harm us, we may never be able to make up with them. If you're an empath like me, that bothers you. I don't like that. I don't like to not get along with people. But I also realize that for some people, it really is a game and it's a grudge and it's something that they're just never going to let go of. And that's where we have to distance ourselves and we have to protect ourselves. And I would say, just as a YouTube community, I would like to see, I agree. Why hold a grudge against another of God's children, right? And like, was it Conscious or Choose or somebody? Conscious earlier, I think, said, well, we're saying we all want the same thing. We all want the truth, right? So if that is true, then I think we know not to stay involved in name calling and other disputes that are not productive. So good job, guys. Right, we have to save energy for the unrighteous, like Clark. Yes, absolutely. Yes, exactly. Can we say for the unrighteous and the unrepentant? Like those are the people that I want us to focus on, right? The people that, if we're calling them out, whether they're politicians, maybe they're family members, friends, they might be neighbors, YouTubers, activists, the people that time and time again, when we give them a chance to make things right and they don't, and we know that they're unrepentant and that they're trying to harm people, okay, well, let's figure out how we can protect ourselves, okay? Because that might be the best thing we can do. But for those of us that are in this YouTube community and we want things to improve and we want to know the truth, and we want to bring healing to our communities, and transparency and accountability and openness, I mean, I say let's work together and let's help keep each other safe, because we're always going to have people that are just going to be trying to disrupt, divide, and cause trouble. Bible verse also says, don't worry about the speck in someone else's eye. Take the plank out of your own. Exactly. Yep. Wyoming says I sure missed everything. Oh, no. It was a session all about bullying, narcissism. We covered doxing, gaslighting. And then there was just a question about some comments made. And so we went over that and then just clarified and sort of straightened that out. So, but yeah, I think it's about it. Well, there was one other video I was going to share, but I probably don't need, maybe I'll do it another night. Let me see what comments were. Maybe I may. We'll see. I might share a little bit of this. Okay, sorry. What did I miss? Sorry. I'm coming back. I pray constantly for everyone. God's grace is boundless. Folks will be alone standing in front of the Lord. Judgment belongs to God. Trying to chat on my phone. Oh, okay. Hey everyone, Wyoming says. What's up, babe? Is that a bug? Oh, you found a bug. Oh, very good. Uh-oh, did you get it? I was hoping you would get it, silly. Now I'm gonna have to get the bug. He tried. Cynthia says, hey, Wyoming. Amen, Cynthia. Facts, Tracy. That's what I focused on my Dave Gentleman. He'll ask what we did and how we handled it. Yay! I love to see people getting along. Hallelujah. Where'd the bug go? Did you get it? Did you get it? Let's see. Okay, I don't think he got the bug. Okay, good. No, that's excellent. I'm so proud of you guys. I was gonna say if anybody else wanted to say anything, you could, but it's probably good for tonight. I just wanted to share a little bit more of this really cool video, and then I'll let you guys go. There's this really, really good philosophy channel that I like, and the guy talks a lot about why do the most narcissistic, selfish, cruel people typically end up in power. So let's listen to a little bit of that, and he is going to tell us. But I thought I listened to a few of him, and I was like, this is amazing. Oh, good night, Tracy. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming on. I know Tracy's reminding me. I'm like, I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I just wanted to share a little bit more of this.
Understood that perception often matters more than reality when it comes to acquiring and maintaining power. And here to our paradox content. Machiavelli observed that rulers who display too much intelligence often create problems for themselves. Why? Because intelligence usually traits like nuanced thinking, ethical considerations, and self-awareness. Consider what happens when a genuinely intelligent person enters a power structure. They tend to see complexity where others see simplicity. They acknowledge limitations where others make sweeping promises. They question themselves where others project absolute confidence. In settings where bold assertion trumps thoughtful deliberation, these intellectual traits become handicapped.
Is Berg still here? Cynthia's asking. Hey. I don't know. I don't know if she's here.
Look at the contrast between someone like Socrates, who questioned everything and was ultimately sentenced to death by the Athenian democracy, versus populist leaders throughout history who rose to power by offering simple, absolute certainties. Socrates' famous, "I know that I know nothing," wisdom made him a philosophical giant, but a political failure. Meanwhile, countless leaders have risen by claiming they alone have all the answers. A controversial 2017 study from the Journal of Management suggested something that might make you uncomfortable. Intelligence correlates positively with leadership effectiveness only up to an IQ of about 120. Beyond that point, additional intelligence actually becomes a hindrance to leadership emergence. The researchers suggested that exceptionally intelligent people struggle to connect with and influence others who can't follow their complex thinking patterns. Think about that. Being too smart might actually prevent you from gaining leadership positions in the first place. Whether or not you buy into that study, it challenges game at play. If intelligence can sometimes be a liability in power games, what qualities actually help people climb the ladder? This brings us to a psychological principle that explains why we so often follow the wrong people. Have you ever noticed how the loudest voice in the room often becomes the most influential, regardless of what that voice is actually saying? This phenomenon has deep roots in our psychological makeup. In the 1990s, psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger identified what we now know as the Dunning-Kruger effect, the cognitive bias where people with limited knowledge dramatically overestimate their competence, while genuine experts tend to underestimate theirs, aware of how much they don't know. The fool doth think he is wise.
So saying that this guy has some great videos, but basically saying sometimes when people are too smart, they're actually willing to first of all admit that they're wrong and to look at nuance. And there's just something in our human psyche that even if we say we know better, we just we'll still go with the loudest person in the room, even if they're totally wrong, because we want a simple answer. It's very, very strange, but it's been seen throughout human history. And Cynthia asks a very good question. Berg, has anyone ever apologized for what was done to you? I think Burgundy Blue would be one a person who would be owed a lot of apologies, for sure. Oh, that's so sweet, Grace. Thank you. Grace Levi says to Berg, I would like to send my apologies. I know she needs it rightfully. We will talk at the butterfly release. That's for Alexis Wilson, I believe, right? I don't know when it is, but I will not to LNC. Got love for Reality Check TV and Critical Smoker. Okay, but thank you, Grace. I think that's, like I said, I always get happy when people are getting along. Oh, right, Wyoming? I'm like, oh my God. This is good. Hopefully we're going to set positive trends for the future because there's some serious, serious evil that we are confronting here, people.
But the wise man knows himself to be a fool. Shakespeare captured this principle centuries before psychology gave it a name, but Machiavelli would have recognized it immediately as a fundamental truth about power dynamics. Modern research confirms this bias operates in leadership contexts. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that individuals who displayed overconfidence were more likely to be perceived as leaders by their peers, regardless of their actual competence. The appearance of certainty.
Okay, so take a moment. Wait, hold on. Wyoming says, nice. Grace says, Cynthia, please, only God makes me move. Okay. But no, I'm glad that we're, yes, people are saying good, positive things. Good. I hope Berg sees this. Many owe her an apology. I agree. I hope she does too. But I think it's important to acknowledge that that truth that, again, how many narcissists, how many really, really bad leaders can we think of get into their positions or get people to listen to them just because they're loud and they just come across as confident all the time? It is crazy how that works.
He was more persuasive than demonstrated expertise. Consider figures like George Armstrong Custer, whose supreme confidence led to catastrophic military decisions, yet earned him rapid promotions and devoted followers. Or look at the tech industry, where founders who speak in absolute visionary terms often secure massive funding over more measured, experienced entrepreneurs. WeWork's Adam Neumann exemplified this. Despite a shaky business model, his unshakable confidence helped him attract billions in investment and a cult-like following. This pattern repeats globally. Japan's Masayoshi Son of SoftBank lost $70 billion on failed investments, while maintaining investor confidence through sheer force of personality. Russia's oligarchs rose not through competence but through connections and confidence during the post-Soviet privatization. Singapore, by contrast, built safeguards specifically designed to prevent confidence from trumping competence in leadership selection. In 2012, researchers from Stanford and the University of Houston found that narcissism, not competence, maybe the strongest predictor of who emerges as a leader and by narcissists, didn't perform better. They just thought they did. Why does this happen? Our brains use mental shortcuts when evaluating others. Confidence signals competence. Decisiveness suggests clarity of thought. These shortcuts served our ancestors well in straightforward environments, but become problematic in our complex modern world, where genuine expertise often involves acknowledging uncertainty. This confidence illusion explains how incompetent individuals might initially rise to power. But there's something even more insidious at play, a mechanism that helps them entrench their position throughout entire organizations.
Oh, you're so right, Grace. And Grace says, I understand more. I think you meant more than others, that she, meaning Burgundy, got done wrong by Jed's cult and Dalton administration. Yeah. I mean, it's just people's lives get ruined by this stuff. Actually, many are owed apologies. Absolutely. Right. We all have things to reflect on. We can all use a hug. Yay! Group hug, everybody. Group hug. Virtual group hug. Conscious is probably laughing at me because I know. I told her, excuse me. I'm always, I try to be the optimist, but sometimes even I get, or even people that I know that have just done horrible things over and over, I still get surprised. But I am always the eternal optimist. You know, I know I need to be more of a realist.
Machiavelli observed something crucial about power structures. Incompetent leaders tend to surround themselves with even less competent subordinates.
Oh boy, how many times have we seen that? I can say this is definitely the case for Mayor Clark and Harvey. He fired, you know how many police chiefs we've gone through? He fired, well, we just paid out, or they just voted on paying out a big settlement to Eddie Winters because he was one of the chiefs that Clark fired. But he fired a lot of the chiefs because they said no when he was telling them to do illegal or unethical things. So, and that's how Clark has fired and lost a lot of really good employees for the city, because anyone that is actually competent and or is not a yes man and wants to stand up to him and really knows what they're doing, Clark sees them as very dangerous because he doesn't want anybody to disagree. So he's fired most of them. So we're left with what we're left with, which is sad.
In The Prince, Machiavelli, the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. What Machiavelli understood was that weak leaders deliberately select weaker subordinates to ensure they never incompetence becomes institutionalized. Dr. Toma Kamoro Premuzic, an organizational psychologist, describes this as competence threatening. Insecure leaders feel threatened by competent members, citing those limitations, or eventually place them, instead of selecting non-personalities. Think of it as a competent split.
What did you notice? In other words, they want docile people. Woo! And Grace agrees. We have a lot of that in America. Trump is so incompetent and in charge. Right. And that's my problem. Again, even if you like some of the things that Trump does, the danger is, and this is where bullying comes into play, right? There's no questioning allowed. There's no difference of opinion allowed. You're arrested, harassed, bullied, doxxed. That is what we have to stand up against. And it doesn't matter your party or, your affiliation or what have you. When anyone is allowed to bully, dox, harass, silence free speech, when anyone is allowed to do those things, it's harmful. Remember, in the case, like I said, we're talking about how Trump, I believe he did steal the election and how he's so horrible and an incompetent tyrant. But I just as easily criticize the Illinois and Cook County Democrats. I don't care about party. I don't care about race, or even sexuality. I remember going down to the MWRD protesting for the residents that our mayor and the MWRD forced to sell their homes for this project that was totally unnecessary. No one should have lost their homes for this. And the board brags, that, oh, well, look, we have Black members on our board. We have, women. We have a gay man. We have a trans woman. We have all that stuff doesn't matter. Your identity, your party, whatever, your race, your age, your gender. If you're not doing good to people, if you're screwing over people, like, okay, I'm gay, but just because you're trans or you're gay or what have you, that you think that means I'm going to be on your side? No. And that's also what we have to change, right? We have to realize that not everyone who looks like us, who might talk like us, that we might perceive to be similar to us, has our best interests at heart. That is a huge issue. Yep. Both sides are corrupt. The Dems and the Republicans, we're in trouble as people. Right. That's what I want people to see. It's not about, well, this person is my race. Well, this person is the party, is from the party that I voted, my parents voted for, da, 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 da. Like, a lot of times that stuff really doesn't matter. How do you treat people? How do you treat people? I mean, that's what it comes down to. And Crook said, okay, he's been in and out. I know he's been watching dinner, but it sounds like he's very happy about the dialogue that we fostered, and he's going to catch up with that later. All right, you guys. Well, we'll stop it here for today, unless anybody else has something to share. Thank you for joining us. I didn't even mean to go this long again, but that was good. It was very productive. I'll give you a second if anybody has anything they want to add. Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna put this guy's link in the chat too. I love his he does a really good job with some of these like philosophy type videos. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry, Grace. I didn't even know it was muted. Oh, did you guys want to hear more from it? I was just gonna let you go and then. Well, yeah, let's we'll do how about to be continued on this. Let's come back and maybe watch some more again because I am pooped. But yeah, did anybody else have anything to add? All right, guys, thanks for joining. I'm so glad we had great positive vibes. Remember, we need you. You are a part of the solution. We're all a part of the solution. Vote. Run for office. You know, go to protests, go to meetings, go to your local city council, school, library, park meetings. If you have a beef with someone, try to do your part to make peace and resolve it, right? Protect yourself from bullies because sometimes some of these narcissists, unfortunately, they're never going to change and you've got to protect yourself. Let's all stick together and remember we want to help people, we want to get to the truth. We want a fair, more just, world for everybody. That's the goal. And for those that are going to continue hurting us and others, I want to send the message to say, no, that's not okay. And we're not going to just take it. We're going to band together as activists, as concerned citizens, as YouTubers, and fight for what's better. Oh, and thank you, Wyoming. You gave us a heart. And Grace says, thank you for allowing me to be part of your chat. Oh, no, thank you for coming on. I love the positivity, you guys. And you guys all enjoy the rest of your lovely Saturday evening. Happy rest of Flag Day, and then tomorrow's Father's Day. Good night. Bonne nuit.